getting it.
Only if I get half an inspiration as well.
I mean, we have to define what half an inspiration means.
And if I do, that goes straight into the preacher's bank account. So.
Is that like adding a D10 to something?
A lot of cases, that'd be better.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, actually, law of averages.
Are we on the messenger? Is that the one?
Yeah, I've sent it to you.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, go for it, sir.
Okay. Session 18, the messenger. Kind Larden takes them to the scheduled area, out of the desert and the western side of the oasis, out of sight from the city. He performs a summoning ritual, but gets more than what he bargained for. Instead of a simple earth elemental, an actual Tao appears. The virtues do battle with it, with the aid of Kind Larden and a new tiefling friend. During the course of the battle, Abrashmina summons forth the aid of her spirit guardian, Ramael, and the others speak with the Deva before his connection to the prime material fades. Declan's ring starts to heat up after they slay the Tao. With its remains, its remains they find about 200 kilos of diamond dust, a mask of shielding, a robe of protection, and Igmuti's maul. After a quick trip back into town, the group rests up before going after Tembran at the Scum Weasel. The bar is quieter now, and Bryn attempts to go in and talk to Tembran to try and lure him out, but she is immediately rebuked by the bartender. Clear now that we aren't going to get him out without a fight, the group goes in after him. Thanks to Eli, Tembran is unable to escape thanks to the clever use of a banishment spell. Bryn sneaks back to kill the unconscious people in the tavern while the group drags Tembran to the butcher shop. Once there, he is deposited in a room for interrogation, and Makud sits at the bar. Declan watches as Bryn extracts the information from Tembran's mind, seeing visions of an oasis with a flat rock angled towards the sun. Tembran traipsing through the desert, and a secret entrance that is only visible when looked at through the emerald that Tembran keeps in his pouch, along with an iron stone. While Bryn was unable to see much of the defenses, she saw a subterranean chapel of around 60 square feet. There are no pews, but places to kneel, and the preacher gives a sermon between 70 and 80 people. She sees cages of slaves whipped to the extent that there is no skin visible on their backs before they are left to rot in cages. Bryn then recognizes her mother's face, a face that was once full of mirth and laughter, now hollow and broken. Seeing all this, Bryn cuts Tembran's throat and stalks away. Abrashmina casts Spare the Dying, but Tembran begs for death. They try to draw more information on the defenses out of him, threatening him with endless deaths. Tembran replies that he does not believe they know what pain is, and that pain is purity. He says that his body is a tapestry of horrors, but each scar made him a little stronger and his vision a little clearer. Whatever Mina does to him, be it pain or death, Tembran feels he will be the victor. Mina kills him. She performs last rites and strips him, seeing that every inch of his body is scarred, and she takes the stone and the emerald. They discuss plans to attack, potential allies to bring, and what their next moves might be. They go to speak to Sharat, who has clearly not slept that night. They discuss bringing Alluri to teleport them out, as well as discussing plans for releasing elementals and a chasm. Chasme? Shazma? Abrashmina sells off some of the diamond dust from the Tao at a premium to Sharat, and Makud tells Sharat that he would like him to be there when he fights the Pot Hydra. They convince Dune to have lunch with Kind Larden, and Dune says that he is coming to fight the preacher regardless. He tells Declan that he is very good with the sword, and that Bree and him make a very good team. The session closes with Declan going to see Tira.
Thank you, Dylan. Inspiration for you, sir.
What am I going to do? Probably going to need it.
Potentially. We'll see. And so we'll start with you on your way to the temple.
Okay. This is the temple of who again?
Istus.
Okay.
Istus, yeah.
And the proper moniker for the nun was sister or mother?
Weaver.
Or Weaver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so you arrive at the temple. It's this very tall building with a dome in the center, sort of like sky blue colors. And you head inside to find it almost completely empty. There's only a few people sort of pottering about. Seems to be maybe it's not a busy time for the temple. And you find the specific weaver, the slightly elderly woman who you gave charge of Tira and Murin to. And she's just sort of like watering some plants that are kept in the central atrium, just kind of going about her duties quietly, enjoying the day.
Okay. And what was her name again? Her given name?
That is a question that is a good one. And
I'm not sure you've asked. Hold on.
I don't know if I gave her a name ever.
Okay. You want to make one up now?
I will, but I just want to check in case there is a name, and I don't want to contradict it. So, give me 2 secs. Gotta fucking load Dan's behemoth document.
Apparently, the only time I've wrote Weaver is just now, so I'm not sure that was established before either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It might have just been sister.
Sister Weaver?
Probably.
Weaver sister?
It might not have been
Even like
asked.
the robes, what do I call her? Yeah, sister. It's
Oops. Sorry.
no worries. Yeah, she introduced herself as D20.
That's right.
Yeah.
D20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
Not
never
your best
given a
day.
name.
Oh, I think I just made that up off the cuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you
Okay.
did.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't write that down because it's silly, but I will this time.
Yeah, Declan never asked for her name, and she never gave it, I don't think.
Okay. Either way, Declan walks in with great solemnity.
I'm sure at some point during our downtime, he visited and got her name.
Probably. So we're going with D20?
No, that's your name.
That's your name.
That was how
that
you
was my
introduced
fake
yourself.
name.
Yes, it was your
Right.
fake name.
Oh God! All right. Anyway, I see sister, and pardon me, sister.
She sort of turns to look at you, and there's a moment where she doesn't recognize you, and then the dawning sort of hits. She says, "Oh, Dee, it is good to see you."
And you as well. I'm afraid I must have been negligent in my manners when first we met, but I don't think I ever inquired as to your given name.
Oh, my name is Sister Galiba.
Kalima. Pleasure to know you. I've come primarily. He kind of puts his hands behind his back and shuffles a little bit from foot to foot. I've come primarily to see Tira and Murin.
Oh,
But I wondered if I might press upon you for a moment as well.
of course.
I'll come in. She's like sitting somewhere.
Yeah, she was just kind of watering plants, so she's just bustling about.
I'll come and like sit, a respectful distance away from her. And sister, could you tell me of your religion?
Of Istus, of course. She herself weaves the fabric of fate. She pulls on the threads of the future, and she helps us see what might be to come, I suppose you could say. She makes sure everything happens at the right time in the right place.
And what says Istus of good and evil?
That is open to interpretation. Some say that Istus, her grand design does not factor in good and evil. Everything happens because it is weaved as so. But I do not believe that. She is good, definitely. I know it. She does not like to intervene because she does not like to compromise the perfection of her design, but yes, I suppose she must have an opinion on good and evil.
Is it the position of your religion that those who do good and those who do evil are bound to their fate and cannot change?
Well, each thread has many twists and turns. Some go over, some go under, you see. So, while, yes, there may be some great plot, some grand design that leads us all into the future, we do not think that everything is certain. Not even Istas herself can see all, but she sees almost all. And she knows the hearts of every person because she knows what it is they will come to do.
Declan sort of considers this and nods, his hand sort of resting under his chin. I'm not a religious man, sister. But I come to you now in search of moral counsel. I find myself arrayed against dark and powerful forces, bent on cruelty. Forces whose belief in their God gives them a sort of imperviousness. They are unpersuadable and willing to do horrendous acts if they believe it serves their cause. I have seen mine and mine allies' morality decline to the point now where I can feel dark impulses creeping into each of us. There are people we must save. The longer they remain with this dark cult, the deeper that they will fall into darkness. I believe their own souls are what we truly fight for more than their lives. But to go now, we will almost surely die. And the closer we are to success, the greater the chance that these barbarians will slaughter them all to stop us from reclaiming them. What does your God say about our fate?
She walks over to you and thrusts a watering can into your hand and motions for you to help her. And she sort of thinks on it for a little while, maybe 30 seconds of silence. And then she turns to you and she says, you know, sometimes a pattern is not complete until the threads at the end are cut. While it is true that some evils still exist and they sometimes win, there would be no pattern if the thread did not travel along its length. How do I say? If you do not try, if you do not endeavor to succeed, then you are worthless. Yes? But if you try and fail, then maybe you have paved the way to fix it in the future. That being said, while Istus does not intervene, it is true that she does not accept the dark things that roam in the world. And it is plain to me that to have come as far as you have, yours must be a long and prominent thread. I do not see it being cut short. But then again, those threads that are the thickest are often the shortest. She shrugs, kind of moves on to another plant that she's watering. I will say this, D. You and your people, you will attempt it, no matter what I say. If I told you that you would surely die, you would go nonetheless. I can see this. And so it matters not what Istus says or what I say. What matters is that your heart is full and strong, and that your convictions are stable and iron forged. Do you understand?
I think I do. I suppose I believe in our skill and our strength and in our commitment. But I fear for our souls.
Your souls... Well, only you can know your own soul. If you know deep in your heart that you are doing the right thing, then I believe your soul will be fine. But you must look inward and decide for yourself.
If only the righteous path were clear.
Then it would not be righteous.
Sort of pauses to consider that.
A thread is only worth something when it is part of a greater tapestry.
I thank you for your counsel.
She smiles, takes the watering can off you again, and motions to a door near the corner, and she says, "They are in there if you would like to visit them."
Nod, stand, and stroll off.
Cool. You open the door, and you're immediately tackled by Tira. Just like grabs your legs.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Mr. Declan!
Have you been faring well?
Yes, very well. There is lots of food here. Come on, come on, come on. And she like pulls you into a table where there's like a few modest meals.
Mm-hmm.
You see Murren's kind of like sitting on a chair in the corner. And he's like looking up at you from where he's been reading a book.
What are you reading, Murren?
He sort of like blushes and hides it and kind of like eventually like kind of lifts it up to show you, and it's a children's book. I think he's probably not been very well educated, so he's making a start.
Reading is the path to greater knowledge and opportunity. I'm proud of you.
His eyes go slightly wide. Thank you.
Sort of look back to Tira, and are you both being looked after well here?
Tira nods.
Yes, we get lots of foods and toys and things. It's very good.
Are you working hard to thank the sisters for their help?
She kind of gives like a sideways glance at Marin.
Yes, Mr. Declan.
That's good. You must always show your gratitude. I've come to tell you both that I am going away, and though I will do my best to return to you and to see you both safe and happy, I may not be able to return. I need you both to promise me that you will do what you can to live a good life, to help the sisters for as long as they will have you here, and to continue to learn and to study.
Marin gives you like a curt nod. And Tira kind of just wanders off to go and eat something. Like, just kind of bored of the adult talk a little bit.
Okay.
Like kids get.
Sure. Well, very well. Kind of shuffles uncomfortably again.
Marin just sort of looks up again from his book and says, "Thank you for all this."
If nothing else, if no other goodness has come from my time in Ashar, I hope that at the very least, you and your sister will be better off. Good luck to you both. And he'll just turn and walk out.
And you, he calls after you.
Stop.
And yeah.
Oh, he calls and you. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, he says and you. And then you just hear Tira like, "Bye, Mr. Declan."
Before leaving the temple, I'll stop and speak with Sister Kalaba again and say, Sister, do you know Sharat of the City Council?
I'm afraid not.
You can find him at a butcher shop, and I'll give her like the cross street if need be. If I do not return for these two, I will leave whatever assets I possess in Ashar in trust with Sharat to see to their continued well-being and to thank the temple for its services.
That is very kind of you.
It's just be with you, and I'll go.
She gives you a little chuckle and nods. What are the other three doing in the meantime?
Drinking like a fish.
Yeah, it's still the same day, right? So
Yeah.
we've like had 2 fights.
Yeah, it's getting on.
Yeah. Yeah, drinking sounds good. Are we at the butcher shop or are we back home at
You're at
Mirage?
the butcher shop before, so if you went back to the Mirage, that's
I was asking the others.
my apologies.
It's okay.
Had we finished our planning or anything like that? I mean, did we need to stay at the butcher shop, or could we have gone back?
I suppose we need to ask the ones that are coming with us if they're going to come with us. But do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait a day or whatever?
I mean, are we wanting to wait more than a long rest to recover, or are we like?
I could do some things if we did, but that's up to you guys. They're divination things, so
I mean, I would rather take all the time we need to make sure we have all the information we need and that kind of thing.
yeah.
Didn't Charette have to like go find a Lurie or something? He was the only one in.
Yeah, Luri wasn't there.
Yeah, she's not here at the moment.
So it's not going to happen probably until tomorrow
Okay.
anyway.
Okay.
So we are probably back at the Mirage then.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to ask people
Yeah. I think the
in
only one
preparation, but
How long has it been since the prison break?
a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
it's
wait.
been a full week.
Since the prison break.
No.
2 days.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
quite been a full week, 2 or 3 days.
Have we been hearing anything around town about it? Do people know what's happened?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like we've been back for maybe 2 days because we wanted to strike quickly.
yeah. Just because we seem to be having the debate now in the bar anyway. Like Makuda's just going to say, Declan has gone to say goodbye to those that he cares for. If you want to give the same luxury to these people in this bar, then you probably tell them tonight or today rather than tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Fair
Dean
enough.
has already said that he would come with us. Whoop, that's Endra's voice. Hold on. Dune has already said that he would come with us, so we can. Eli seems to be a bit too inebriated for such questions yet, but suppose we could ask him. Maya and Tal are not here yet. Are not here though. Yes.
Correct.
So, is Taryn there where we can see?
No, not what you can see. But he
Okay.
could be in his room, so.
Suppose we could ask about Maya and Tal and Taryn. Is that who we wish to come with us in our endeavor?
Isn't there another one?
Dune, Eli, Maya, Tal, Taryn
Right.
would be our
Okay.
9.
Where's Eli?
Drunk and sitting
Yeah,
on.
he's passed out
yeah.
on a couch or on a booth.
Oh, yeah, he snuggled up, didn't he? But did he know we were going to do this? Was he
Yeah,
aware
he
what
said
we-
he'd be down if
Cool.
you paid him.
Right.
Did we?
So,
Yeah, okay. Or at least
it can be
insinuated
implied.
that.
I was talking to him, maybe. Or we were talking to him to some extent. So we find Taryn, Maya, Thal.
Yes, and Aluri. Sharat is very clear that we would have to, that they would have to be willing. He will not order anyone to help us. So we had to also convince Aluri to do this. But that maybe not be as difficult as we might think. So yeah, I'll go up and ask Uvir if he knows where Maya and Thal and Terran are.
Rivera kind of like shrugs. Think they're all in their rooms.
Is it all right to go knocking, or is that
Why not? Kind of shrugs and grins.
which ones are they in?
He points out 2 different rooms
All right,
up on the balcony.
Brashmina will go up and see if they would come down to join us.
So whose room do you knock on first?
I don't know whose room is which, so I knock on the first one that she comes across.
Okay. So you hear the knock and you hear Taryn's voice, okay, and he's sort of like, you hear him like stumbling and trying to pull on clothes or whatever. And he like opens the door bleary-eyed. He's like in sort of like a very loose shirt that's like open, and some sort of like kind of thick slacks. You see behind there's someone like under the covers in his bed, and he looks like he's just woken up and his hair's all mad, and he goes, hi, what do you want?
The others and I were wishing to speak with you about a mission.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Is it a good time?
Yeah. Just give me 2 minutes. Just splash my face, and I'll be out.
Yeah. We will be downstairs.
And he sort of like nods, closes the door, and you can hear him like groaning and like kind of splashing his face, changing his clothes.
Abrashmina is not listening at the door. She is going to Maya's and Hall's and
Right.
knocking on it because that's creepy.
Yeah. Thal comes to the door, shirtless, as he almost always is when he's not outside. And Maya's like sitting in a chair by the window and gives you a wave. And Thal kind of just smiles at her. Hello?
Yes, hello. We, the others and I, were wanting to speak to you about a mission of sorts. If you were interested,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to speak to some of the others. If you would like to join us downstairs.
Okay. Like turns to Maya and she like shrugs and nods. And they get up and will come straight away. And as you're walking back downstairs, Taryn like joins the convoy. Still looking half asleep, but a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll roll by Eli's table just to see if he like has kind of sobered up enough for conversations.
Sort of like grins up at you. Hey, baby, how's it going?
It is going well, I suppose. There is a matter that we wish to discuss with you if you were available and awake enough for such discussions.
Of course I am. I'm there. Let's go. So
She
like
points to like the table where Bryn and Makud are kind of congregated at.
like gets up, stumbles over, slumps into a seat next to Makud and like leans against his arm.
Right.
He just pats him on the head or something.
Was Declan coming back? Should we wait for Declan or should we just get this conversation over with?
I mean, he's planning on coming back once he's done.
Okay. So I guess we can get started.
Yeah,
and
he
you'll
wouldn't be
join
gone
us?
for more than like an hour, I don't think so.
Okay. So we're probably at like, whatever. So we have gathered you all here today.
You're probably all wondering why I gathered.
Also, while moving around the city, Declan is taking precautions to not be seen. If you want me to roll anything for that, I can do that.
Yeah, just give me a generic stealth roll for your time out in the city.
It's a 20. Dirty 20.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Right. Well, Abrashmina is going to start talking like an NPC quest giver. And she kind of lays it out for everyone. Their plan is like June is there, and like so we have information that we believe will lead us to the preacher's whereabouts. While we were hoping to see if any of you all wish to come and help us free some of the slaves and defeat this man.
Maya and Thal kind of glance at each other, and Maya immediately like nods. We're in.
Excellent. I had the feeling that you all would say that.
Eli sort of like yawns and like kind of nuzzles Makud's arm a little bit. Do we get paid?
You can be. Sharat
Much.
said that it was volunteer basis. But if you require compensation, I'm sure.
How much you pay me?
How much
It-
would you require? We do not have much.
Declan will speak up if he's there, and
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
just walking in around this time.
Sure.
We cannot afford to pay you anything right now because all we own is owed to the Six Eyes anyway. We can
Deal.
promise you.
He holds out a hand to shake.
We promise you your share of the spoils, an equal split between anyone who comes.
Deal. Taran's sort of crossing his arms, like trying to look more awake than he is. He says, so the plan is traipse through the desert, look through Magic Emerald, go in and slaughter 80 cultists.
Give or take.
If it becomes necessary, there is a hope that we'll be able to get, well, worst case scenario, there may be a few slaves that we need to get free.
So, is the plan then you four take charge of dealing with the preacher himself, and we try and get the slaves out?
If possible. What must be considered is that if we fail in our infiltration, they've already proven that if we pose a significant threat, that they have no problem wasting their inventory rather than turning it over to us.
I think it could work, but I think the plan needs to be that the 4 or 5 of us get ourselves between the slaves and the cultists and try and hold them off for as long as we can. And I feel that once the preacher is dead, the cult will collapse.
Who's speaking?
Taran.
Taran. Okay.
So if we can get as many slaves out before that happens, then we should be okay. But we need to find a choke point, a way to stem the flow so that they can't come at us from all angles while you're off hunting the preacher.
Unfortunately, we have no idea what the layout of caves are.
Mm.
Were you going to say something, Mina?
Yes, I was going to say that is a very good plan. There are a few, because this way Aluri can stay back, and if we fail, she can still get the rest of you home, perhaps with a few slaves that are important. She kind of like looks at Declan and Bryn. A few that we need to make sure. If it gets to that point, we may have to be on our own to get out, but at least you all and loved ones will be safe. Basically sacrificing our spot in the teleport for
Extra
important
slaves.
peeps. Yeah. Important slaves. I know that sounds awful, but there are 3 slaves that we know of that are named. So there's Ethan, but we don't know if she's there. And we know for sure Kaya is there. And then there's also Aishi, the Zuzma.
They all have names. See, they all have
I
names.
know, but we know the names of 3. We know the names of 3, and these are ones that we've promised to try and get free. So.
And what about the other, what are they called? Apostles?
The only one that will be left will be Madir, the ghost. We have no leads on where she may be. We do not even know if she is with the preacher or if she is with here in the Shar. But then there is also the Oracle. She will be with him.
She will be. Though our greatest threat from her is the fact that she may well know that we are coming already. For all we know, she is observing us now.
And Oluri can only teleport us back, right? She can't teleport us there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does Alluri possess? Is Alluri with us?
No.
We haven't spoken to her yet, so all of this still hinges on Alluri agreeing to it. So,
Does anyone here know if Alluri possesses the ability to remote view, to see at great distance?
They all shake their heads. Not that I've come across.
Then it seems we must enter blind.
there are a few things that I can do, but they are the same things that the Oracle can do, and they are not always clear answers.
Well, I would take an unclear answer over no answer at all. I kind of look to the assembled folk and say, regardless, thank you for your service in this. I feel I should clarify one more time the risks involved. We will be outnumbered, and there is a chance that those we go to save may be sacrificed. This is a risk we're all willing to take. Question more than a statement.
That was
No
a question
objectives then.
yeah, that was a question to them, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not really have anyone specific to save, so I assumed the question was more for Bryn, but
It's for everyone. I mean, basically, we're all here to save slaves, but if our attempt kills them all, is that something we're comfortable with, or at least willing to risk?
yeah, well, that's why I figured it was for Bryn, because she's got skin in the game, as it were. But they will nod, except Thal. He won't nod, but he won't protest. He'll just kind of sit staring ahead. You know that he and Maya are more of the kill slavers first, free slave second type.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whatever the risk, it's got to be better than staying a slave to the preacher.
It means there's a chance, Taryn says, even if it's a slim one. A tiny chance is better than no chance.
We shall test that theory.
Better to be dead anyway, I think. Thal nods emphatically.
Declan says nothing.
Abarashmina will look to Bryn. When you received your visions, were there any traps that we should be concerned with?
Not that you saw.
Yeah, I don't really recall any.
But you do remember that, you didn't see much of the layout or anything, so there definitely could be. It's just that what you got from Tembrin.
I feel like if
questions you asked.
Tembrin was thinking of getting to the preacher, if there were traps, he would have thought about and I have to step around this. And
Well, because the way it was asked, from what I remember, was how do we get there? So that
that's part of
appeared in
how
his mind.
I mean, that's kind of a part of how to get there.
And then
To be
she asked
fair,
specifically
the
about
interrogation
the preacher.
was cut pretty short. So.
Yeah. And then he asked about the preacher, and
We
so
could have asked all kinds of questions.
it sort of
but we didn't
jumped
ask.
to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Makuda's gonna. I don't know if we have this information, but Makuda's just gonna ask. He's gonna turn to Dune and be like, "How long did it take you to get there?"
Well, I didn't go straight there, but just under a week, I think, as the bird flies.
Through the desert.
He nods.
You were climbing, right?
Well, that was in a different spot.
Right.
I didn't stay there.
So, You think it could be a flatter route, something that
It is. It is a flatter route.
okay. Because once we free these people, they need to get home. We need to make sure that they will survive the week back. We will need supplies.
I can always try and send briefer supplies while we're there if we need it.
Well, I thought I might carry some.
It's a good idea.
I'm sure I can carry enough for a great many of them. I will have to come with some clothing. And then once I get there, I can lead them back.
Dune, I had actually hoped that you and I could possibly create a map with your knowledge of the desert and my visions of what I've seen.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, we could try. I think I can remember it when I see it, but Bree's got a much better memory for things like this than me, so she can help.
Well, I can show you things that I've seen that may be landmarks that would stick out that you could possibly place on a map, or anyone who would have knowledge of the desert.
Oh, okay, we can try. I think we can do it. Tamron will sort of like sit back in his chair and rub his head.
I mean, not that name.
Not Tamron. Taran. God damn it. Well, lean back in his
Kill
chair
him!
and rub his
Kill
head.
him!
Okay.
Yes, kill him again. Stop.
It was him all along. And we'll say, well, when do we plan on leaving?
As soon as possible. A great deal of this hinges on Alori, so as soon as she agrees, if that's tonight, then we should leave in the morning, as early as possible.
Right. Well, if that's the case, then I'm going to get some shut-eye. And I guess I'll see you all at dawn.
For those of you who can prepare spells for tomorrow, I think our greatest threat may be, other than the sheer numbers we face, enemy magic. Whatever you can do to counter or dispel may be what makes the difference between success and failure.
We will have a week to prepare those spells, but yes, that is a very good point.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
I am adjusting my things right now.
And so Taran is going to bid you all good night and sort of get up and stumble back upstairs. Eli is probably going to pass out at the table, and Maya and Thal will take their leave after a bit as well. Shirak kind of comes out, sees you all assembled, those of you remaining.
I'm just going to pick up Eli and put him back in his booth.
Okay.
And then come back again.
He will be very grateful tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And Shirak will sort of walk over to your table and pull up a seat. You have a plan then?
Yes, it seems we do.
But I suppose you need a Luri to finalize it.
I think it's safe to say... sorry, go ahead.
Ja, es ist nods.
I think it's safe to say that we go regardless, but her resistance would be paramount of importance.
Well, yeah. Leave her to me. I'll talk to her tonight.
Will she be ready to leave in the morning?
She
Or
will.
she needs more time?
No, she'll be ready to go. But I will ask that you look after her carefully. She's a delicate thing, and I love her very much. and her and Thal both have a great deal of moon elf in them, and they do not do well in the sun. So I ask that you ensure their safety as much as you can.
I will guard her life with my own.
Good.
Do we have tiny huts? Does Aluri know how to cast tiny hut?
Luri
Does Bryn know how to cast tiny hut?
does not.
Bryn does.
Yay! Okay.
Nice.
We will be safe from the elements during the worst of the things. Then I'm going to assume that we know this. Because might be able to.
Well, only 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside.
Oh, so all but one.
With you, so that is that.
Yeah, with you.
Nine.
That's
With you.
that's-
Okay, so it's
that's
10.
Yeah.
Yep.
10.
Just McCoo just sitting outside in the sand, leaning against the door.
I mean, he wouldn't mind.
He would mind less than everyone else, I'm sure.
Well, that's good. Because we will probably have to travel a rest in the dome during the worst of the heat.
Yeah. And, crazy random sandstorms, purple worm attacks.
Sand elementals, mummies, mind flayers.
Liches, secret dragons.
Oh my!
I mean, what? And so, I assume you all are going to return to the Mirage for the evening.
Sorry.
No,
Do you
no,
want to
go
go? Okay. He would talk to Charette as he's there.
That's what Declan's doing too. So they bump into each other. Declan's like,
Well, we might not even leave the table then. Cause
He's
and he's gonna just like give an eye to Bryn to like key her into the conversation. I don't know how many slaves are there, and he's gonna like pause for a second. I don't know how many Bryn saw could estimate.
70 to 80.
Oh,
Oh,
was
no,
that not-
70 to 80 was the
guards.
clergy.
Or
Yeah,
right,
slaves Bryn saw about 20-ish, but she doesn't know if that's
At
all of them.
least. Okay. I presume she mentioned that at some point or
Yeah.
right now. Once we have rescued these slaves, they need to make the journey back. I was going to take food to them, but everything we own is yours, as Declan reminds me. Do you have food for many? And as big a bag as I could carry. And clothes. Something to keep the sun off them.
We can sort that out. Maya and Thal have a bag that can carry pretty much anything, so we can fill that up with food and clothes and whatnot.
Worst comes to worst, I can create some.
You've also seen Eli store stuff in his own personal pocket dimension.
Oh,
Itty bitty living space.
I wanted like a montage of him trekking through the desert with this huge fucking backpack on with food for like 50 people crammed into it, but
Well, I can only
other people have bags, fine.
Coop is like food Santa.
Yes, food center. I mean, I was going to even suggest if there was one of those skiffs, I could just pull it.
Food
All the way
Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you get a hot dog, and you
Camel.
get a hot dog.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Camel.
You get coal. That is, you get sauerkraut.
They also may need basic medical care, and she'll kind of like minor illusion the condition of the slaves, basically.
Well, Dune can do a little bit of healing. I know Abrashmina can too. But we'll pack some medical supplies as well.
A wise consideration, Lakud. Sherrod,
Yes.
one final thing before I think we leave you. I would like to give you this, and I'm going to pass him my purse with most of my gold in it and a key to the Mirage. This is the majority of my financial assets. This key will allow you access to not only the Mirage, but the basement. Within the basement, you will find all that I possess here in Ashar. My laboratory, a great deal of rare and valuable alchemical equipment, medical equipment, herbology, gear. You have my permission to liquidate these assets should we not return to pay our debt. I would ask a favor of you, though.
Of course.
There is a young girl and her brother at the Temple of Istus. When I first came here, this girl was an orphan who served me as an informant for some time while I learned of the city and tracked the preacher's moves. For her own safety, I have left her at the temple under the care of a sister by the name of, because I wrote it down. Kaliba. I ask that some small portion of the assets that I leave with you go towards her continued welfare.
I'll see it done. But I hope it will not come to that.
You and I both. For what it's worth, the Six Eyes has earned my respect. I hope that we can earn yours as well.
You have. You have done more to assuage the grip of slavery on this city than anyone in hundreds of years. So you have our respect and our gratitude, even though we don't always see eye to eye.
Well, may our combined efforts see slavery ended in this city once and for all.
Indeed.
Fare thee well, friend, and I'll put my hand out for him.
He shakes it.
And I will go.
And I will go. All right. So the four of you head back to the Mirage. Would you have had it open today?
I mean, I don't see any reason not to have it open. We need money.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of which, we did get some money that we can use for buying supplies.
If you've had it open, then please, somebody, roll me a D100.
Ooh, I can.
Go for it.
Don't roll low.
61.
So, 610 gold you have made.
Dodgerette runs this place better than we do.
I mean,
It's more that while you were in prison, I think...
Schmear brought the busty ladies in.
Well, no, I think it was more they sort of...
brought the busty ladies in.
No, they were more sort of worried that they were going to get lumped in with you guys, and so I don't think they opened it as much.
What is actually it's been rebranded as like a wyvern cafe rather than a cat cafe. People just come and stroke wyverns and drink booze, breakfast whiskey.
That's not bad because like that's about what like we made like 800 our opening night, and that was because of the or closer to 900, but that was because of the fire wine. So which we
mine wine.
The mine wine. So we haven't
Mine wine challenge.
We haven't had a chance to finish off the mine wine for the mine wine challenge stuff.
Yeah, there's like an act in at the moment. It's like 3 women, and they're all singing, but 2 of them very clearly aren't any good at singing. The lead singer is really good, but like the 3 of them weren't brought in for their singing talents, and Smear is just sort of leaning up against the bar, enjoying the show despite like a few disgruntled patrons.
We've talked about the quality of the axe that you bring in.
You know, people are coming in, they're drinking, they like what they see, they're okay with what they hear. You know, it's fine. We're making money.
We'll talk about it when I get back.
Sure, boss.
And he just sort of turns his gaze back to the ladies.
Bryn,
Yes.
I wish to speak to you.
Well, I'm going to get a bottle and find a booth. You're welcome to join me if you would like.
That'll be 7 gold, please.
Abrashmina glares at Schmier.
Understood.
Hands over the ball.
I mean, I would have at least asked for a discount. We can't really exactly, drink all the. You know what? Thank you.
We will have to pay to replace it anyway. Why pay for it twice?
I'm just trying to make you guys make some money.
It is not technically profit if it is our money that we are spending.
I see. I don't think your math is correct there, but
I believe we are having a private conversation there, Schmier.
well, yeah, we are, but we're the
Goodbye.
boss. Okay.
Abrashmina and Bryn will take to the booth.
Are you going to make me drink alone?
No, I will join you. She gets. Did we get glasses or do we just have the bottle?
I mean, you didn't ask for glasses, and
Yeah, I
Smear
guess
wouldn't
so.
give you them. So.
We just have the bottle then.
Take a drink of the bottle and pass it over.
Yeah,
We can get glasses or we can share.
I do not mind sharing. And Abarashmina will take a sip. It looks ridiculous because she's got the thin spindly arms
Yeah.
or whatever, so she has to use both hands
You see,
for the bottle.
you see two slightly intoxicated young men. Maybe they're dock workers or something. They kind of spot you both sitting in a booth, and start making a beeline to come sit with you. But you see Shugor, the bouncer, kind of notice and intercept, and puts his hand on one of their chests and turns them around before they can get to you. You think you're pretty you got a pretty private space for your conversation.
Are you all right? You have been troubled. I mean, we all have been troubled, but
Honestly, no. I'm not all right.
I did not think so. I am sorry that while we were in that place, I was not quite there. I feel like it might have been better if you were not alone.
I don't know. I wasn't much better. Because if it had been up to me, we'd probably still be there.
Why do you say that?
I mean, it's not exactly like I was fighting against any of that. I mean, I just picked up a hammer and did what I was told.
You did what you had to do to survive. That is what everyone did. I feel as though I let you all down.
You didn't let us down. I mean, it was your magics that ultimately brought help.
I feel as though that my impulsiveness is what. If I had not gone for the Oracle, it might not have taken so long for us to get out.
She's a fucking cunt. I probably would have done the same thing.
It is good that you did not. Then it would have been both of us colored. It is not a pleasant experience. I do not recommend trying it.
Yeah, well, they can try to collar me again. We'll see how far that'll get them. I'm not gonna roll over like a dog this time.
I thought that staying was the best path, not running with the others. There are things that, if I could do it over again, I would have done differently.
Don't play that game. Honestly, for better or for worse, we didn't realize how ingrained into this city the preacher was.
I wanted you to be wrong about the city. And I am sorry.
I wanted you to be right.
I am sorry that I was not.
Again, it's not something you need to apologize for. There are a lot of people in this city that take advantage of people's blind faith and hope.
I just wanted to speak to you about what had happened because I can see you going down a very dark path. It is one that is hard to stray from.
I'm good, but I need you to do something for me.
Yes?
If it comes to it, you have to make sure Kaya gets out. I don't care if that means I get left behind.
This is something I can do for you.
That's my mother. She's my mother. And she has to get out of there. Nothing else matters to me. I'm sorry I didn't tell you before. I was trying to protect her. But ultimately,
Secrets are a very rare and precious thing in this city. It may have been one that has kept
couldn't.
her alive this long.
But
I
maybe
am-
I didn't trust you, and I'm sorry.
That is all right. It is not necessarily an issue of trust between us, but a very wise suspicion that you had about this city. There have been things
Yeah.
you've tried to keep secret that did not remain so. If it was something that you had spoken aloud, I honestly do not believe she would still be alive. I worry for the one Declan searches for.
Me too. You didn't deserve my distrust, and I'm sorry. I know. If I had spoken it aloud, maybe it would have gotten back to the preacher, but it feels bad that I thought those things about you.
I do not take offense.
You're a good person. You're a good friend.
I am glad to be your friend. You are the best, most lamentable friend that I have. She kind of grins because she knows that she said it wrong.
How many lamenters do you know? Just the two of us?
There is you, there is Declan, there is Taryn, there is Maya. I don't
Siggy,
know. I am not
Siggy.
Tiggy.
Uvea,
Uvier.
But
There are quite a few. So,
Laden,
but you are on a very
Yarnex.
very good list to be on.
I'm in good company.
Maybe someday you can show me how lamentable your home is.
Callan is beautiful in the fall.
It snows there, yes? I have not seen snow.
In the north, it does. It's cold. And it's fantastic.
There are fantastic things that happen in the show too. I hope one day you will get to see some.
You and Makud are pretty awesome. Pretty fantastic.
Yes, I will agree with you there. Makud is. She kind of grins. Makud is a gift.
Don't tell him you said that. That'll go straight to his head.
He will want a pretty bow.
He will. And I've seen the way he struts around when he hears people whispering. What's his name?
Amar Utu.
Amar Utu, is that how you say it?
Yes, it means, and someone provides her with a translation that I have forgotten.
the solar calf or something like that.
The
Yeah,
solar calf.
big boy sun cap.
He definitely struts when he hears people say that.
Yes.
If he can even strut.
I watched him fight a few times when I spent time in the Vakar. Because you can tell that there are great things that are meant for Makud.
You may not know this, but I've seen him fight too. Usually I'm trying to stay alive as well, but I have seen him fight as well.
Yes, well, some of the spectacles in the Vakar. As much as I do not like Shal Abjana personally, he does know how to put on a good show.
Makud ripped a man in half. I don't think it gets much better than that.
That was new. That was new, I will admit. There was not a whole lot of such violence before, but I do believe it was well earned.
Indeed.
I wanted to make sure that you were okay. And that's. We are here for you.
I'm as okay as I'm going to be. For right now. The path ahead is very dark.
Do not let that darkness weigh on you. I believe that we were chosen to help bring light to some of this darkness.
My path has been shrouded in darkness from the moment I was born.
Perhaps it was to prepare you.
It visits me when I sleep. In the moments when everything is quiet, I can hear it gnawing at the back of my mind. But I will try not to let it consume me.
This is where some of your magic comes from.
Some of it. Not all. Mostly. Some of them mental stuff, the mind stuff. I've never really met anyone like me. So I don't have a lot of information, and stuff that I have is folk tales, fairy stories.
There must be others like you. There, I thought for the longest time that there would be no others like me, and then I met Dune, and there is no one I have seen like Maya, the girl with the eyes and the cat eyes and no shadow. This is a place that gathers unique individuals
It does seem
where
to
we all find a home.
it does seem to do that.
There is no one else like you. There is no one else like Makut. There is definitely no one else like Declan that I have met.
No, I've traveled very far and I've met a lot of people, and I have never met anyone like Declan.
There you go.
He'll make us better people than we are, whether we want to be or not.
He sees the good in everything, and perhaps you are the balance to that. But as with both, you cannot be so blinded by the light that you do not see the truth in front of you, and you cannot be so shrouded in shadow that you cannot see the brightness that is behind you. You must find balance.
Have you ever considered getting on stage and reciting some of these wisdoms of yours in a spoken word form?
I am not entirely sure that you are not being sarcastic with me.
I am
But-
not. We had someone who would recite spoken word with the troupe. It was nice. You pay for that kind of wisdom.
I will admit it would not be the first time that I had to perform, but it is not. I am all right with it.
It's got to be better than those singers over there.
Lord. I do believe that ones that are closest must be deaf.
Yeah, I don't think they're there for their singing.
No,
Just hear Smear shouting about how they're all going to be famous one day.
Thank you
Nina
for
takes a
checking
big-
on me.
You are welcome. There is only way I think that any of us will get through the upcoming days, and that is if we work together. We cannot be separate.
True. But remember, she goes before me.
That is
And
why
if
it's. Yep. Go ahead.
And if it's me or her, it's gonna be her.
Hopefully, it will not get to that point.
I know.
I will pray tonight to He who watches to watch over her.
Thank you.
Abrashmina gets up and gives Brynhild's shoulder a squeeze. Staggers a bit because she's a lightweight before heading up to her room.
What's everyone else doing?
Declan, you got plans?
Thario is muted. No, Declan will just be with everyone, probably sitting by himself, or just at the bar, not separate necessarily.
So I was thinking after, just to cut back to while we were leaving from the bar,
Sure.
I kind of like double back to Charette. It doesn't necessarily have to be like all secretive or anything.
Yeah.
And Maku just like, I imagine because he's very wary, Charette, he hasn't really moved. And Makud is just like, but you don't own me. And he like puts a finger up to like Charette's face and he's like pointing at the freedom thing that is around his horn. Also, this hammer I found after. This is not indebted to you. And and he like
Okay.
dragged the huge hammer.
Sharat just sort of chuckles. Makud, I don't own anything of yours, nor do I own you. All that is true is that you owe me a bit of money. Your possessions are your own, and even if you do not pay, they are still yours. But you are honorable people, and I know you will.
He sits down for a moment, and like looks at him and goes, like leans back, and I think the hammer is like between his legs, and like both of his hands are on the haft of it, and he's like, "What is the going rate on cultists?"
To what? Kill them?
Yes. I have a feeling that I'm going to spill a lot of their blood.
He kind of, you see him sort of grin. He says, "All right, Makud. How about this? For every cultist you kill, I'll knock 100 gold off your debt. But I'll be asking Declan, so don't think about exaggerating." He kind of gives you a grin, like sort of knowing you wouldn't, but enjoying the joke nonetheless.
And what about the big one? The worthy one?
The preacher?
Mm-hmm.
You kill the preacher, I'll knock off your entire debt, 100,000 gold.
Is Declan within earshot of this?
You can choose to be if you want. It's mostly a jovial conversation, but...
And if I take out the preacher first?
You could try, little man.
Whoever brings me the preacher's head.
Little I may be, Makud, but quick. Sometimes quick is better than big.
He like leans conspiratorially towards you and then loudly whispers, "Have you seen what this hammer can do?"
I've seen some. I know to fear its power.
Maybe it will be me, Abrashmina says, flexing her little spindly arm. See how strong I am? It is... My muscles are getting bigger.
I would not put it past you.
Wow.
Though thin your wrists, great your spirit.
As much fun as this is, I must find a Luri, so I will see you all on the morrow.
I will bring you his head. And he like gets up and with like a loud clap against the table.
If you're quick enough, and he grins and heads off.
Right, good.
So you going back and drinking?
We could probably. I just had the night, like we had a serious scene, so I wanted to do levity, but that was the best levity that I could come up with. And I know it was technically before, but oh well.
It was good levity. Plus, you've
Now there's
got a little bit
Yeah,
of
yeah,
competition
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Makud will go back, and drink, and Smear can try get him to pay. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think he is going to. He'll go check on the wyverns, briefly, and like tell them that he has to go, like that. Yeah, that. Well, he's also like telling the wyverns. I was thinking, not that they know, but like basically, it's the Declan thing, but he has to go away, and he is coming back. Like, there's no doubt in his mind that he's coming back.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
And you see that they're currently being fed live rats, and like fighting over them, sort of pulling them apart. And Jari's kind of just standing there, like nodding proudly. And you see Seamus is in the corner eyeing up the rats.
Do I see? I'm gonna roll.
I mean, Seamus is hella stealthy, so maybe not. But...
No, I rolled like a 4, so. But he's also probably going to chat with Jari as, hobgoblin desert, like familiar desert folk, and he's going to show him the hammer and like tell him a bit about it.
That is a powerful weapon.
Have you seen this size of it? And like I imagine it's twice or more as big as the last hammer he was holding.
He goes, I have seen the size of it.
I cannot wait to hit someone with it. And that is what I'm going to go and do. Hit many people with it.
Well, I look forward to seeing you hit more people with it when you get back.
And then he's going to go to his room, and I think he's going to sit against the wall with the mural of the sands, and then he's going to like play with a little like wisp of sand. I imagine there's sand everywhere here, on the floorboards and all the rest of it, and he's just like it's going in between each of his fingers as he kind of like waves it around.
I love that Makud was doing his like rounds showing everyone his new toy.
Hell yes.
Love it.
I do have a question.
Yes.
The potion seller that we got the potions of water breathing from, does he have any other strong potions useful for us?
He does, but he doesn't particularly want to do business with any of you anymore.
Oh, why not? I was AFK whenever they were being bought, so
I'm pretty sure he got threatened and like intimidated into selling the potions. I think Declan did a bit of a Batman on him with Makud folded arms behind him, so he was indignant.
okay.
But you can definitely find him if you'd like potions. Are you after something in particular?
I was thinking of, because a potion of water breathing is uncommon, so I thought maybe he might have some other uncommon potions, like potion of fire breath, maybe, or potion of growth might be fun.
Any healing potions?
Healing potions, I suppose. Potion.
Actually,
of-
like water breathing is not if he has any more of those. Like if it's an underground cave below an oasis, like a really good like dead man's trap would be to flood the cave. So
true.
just a thought.
And then potion of resistance. When he beat the shit out of Declan, he didn't do any extra damage that of any kind of type. It was just he got punched really fucking hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, he could have been only using a
Yeah.
1% of his power or something.
Yeah, it's definitely could have been.
When you fight him, his hair's going to be spiky and a foot long.
Yeah, but basically, I just want to go and see if they have anything because we do have a bit of money from the Mirage.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of see like healing
Yeah, if
potions
there's
and
any
like
shopping any of you want to do, now is the time.
Can I just ask, sorry, mostly to see, what was the last thing that the Bell Witch gave us to do? Because anything that we could get from the Bell Witch might...
yes, to find the Monk of the Wastes. I was going to say if we had a day that we could go and try and research that in the library because we kind of forgot to do that.
Yeah, you did say you were gonna.
I wanted to take a day, but everyone, it seems like we're going to be heading out.
But
right
like
away.
slaves, they can't sit waiting for us to read a book.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, you could go now-ish, or today.
What time of day is it?
Of day.
I mean, it's evening. It's getting close to closing time.
Someone could go.
I'll hurry.
You don't have to do all of it alone.
Yeah. If anyone wants to come with me, they can.
I kind of want to just go so Makood can talk to the same librarian again, get it all read to him.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I
I'll
was asking you two more.
Oh,
I assumed you were going.
It's fun, and also, I don't know, we shouldn't go alone or something.
yeah.
Makood will follow Mina around.
Abrashmina is also going to put the hood up on her thing, do the thermaturgy to make herself look more normal.
Yeah.
There's no disguising Makood, but Abrashmina is going to take steps to disguise herself.
Totes. Well, you get to the library and you can see it's getting fairly near closing time, but it's still open for a good few hours more. Make your way inside. Investigation check.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Should have brought Declan.
I asked if anybody else wanted to come, but I'm gonna guidance.
I wasn't.
Guidance.
Guidance. Ooh, that was a good roll for once. 18.
I got a 0. Makood is no help.
So Makood ends up in the building next to the library. It's like a bathhouse. Where are all the books?
Yes. Do you have a family? Do you have books?
Can you tell me how to raise wyverns? No, wait, I don't need to know that anymore because I have a friend now. But do you have a family?
Yeah, Makood, you see the librarian who helped you last time, like kind of sees you, eyes go wide, and then he turns to try and scuttle away.
Mina, over here, I found him. And he's like, bump, 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 like between some shelves or something.
So we'll do that in a sec. I'll let Abrashmina have her book. So you do find something. You find a kind of treatise on traveling in the waste. It kind of details like a lot of the Minotaur clans and the Hobgoblins and the Medigen, who are like a tribe of humans living out in the desert. Kind of tells you of like the two deserts, the Kazala and the Kazalu. And you do see mention of this like this blind monk who lives on top of this kind of like rock stack in the desert. And it doesn't really give you a location, but you know it's in the Kazala, the nearer one, the more northerly.
The one we are going to be passing through?
Yeah, so basically Ashar has like mountains across the middle, like a belt.
Yeah.
And the Kazala is the north side and the Kazalu is the south side.
Okay.
And so he's in the north side, which is where you guys are going to be going. Like to get past the mountains is like maybe a month of travel.
He is not near the mountains. He is just
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sort of in the middle of nowhere, hence the name Wastes. Though it is noted that he can see the sea from the stack. So you think it might be that he is on the more westerly side of the island. The
Is that
continent.
the far away?
Yeah, very much so.
Shit. Okay.
I think I have the map again. This one? Yes.
Yeah, because it shows more to the east.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah, you think he's more to the west, and where you're
Yeah,
going
south.
is sort of
Towards the mountains.
it's like the way you guys are aiming is going to be roughly for you see that little cell that's above the H that's a different color.
Mm-hmm.
Cactus. That is roughly where you guys are aiming for.
And so he's okay.
And so he's up, kind of top left.
Yeah, good luck. I think I'm just gonna hit abandon quest on this one. At least it's not something we're gonna be able to pick up on our way. It's like, hey guys, let's detour with a bunch of slaves all the way over to the western side of Ishar. Doesn't that sound fun? And they all just look at us and go, fuck you, bitch, and keep walking back.
I mean, the campaign doesn't end when you kill the preacher. Unless you get killed by the preacher, then the campaign does end.
It's definitely something that's being placed on a back burner in Abrashmina's mind.
We beat the preacher. I'm going the fuck back to Dethone. Fuck that.
we're in this all together, friends, until I finished my bit, and then I'm out.
He's like, peace,
Mic
love,
drop.
you jerks.
Your country sucks. Fuck you. I'm out.
What's Mr. Backlund?
She can come, I guess.
I'm taking my orphans and going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
So yeah, you maybe have a slightly more clear inkling of where it might be.
Okay.
Makud, you finally ambush the library attendant who is kind of hiding behind a stack of books that isn't big enough to cover him. Oh, it's you.
Makud just goes, Bellwitch!
What?
Bellwitch?
Bellwitch?
Bellwitch.
I have no idea what you are talking about.
He looks like disappointed. Like he is the library. How can you not know? Okay. And he kind of looks around like at the books on the shelves a bit like, what do they know? What about the Monk of the Wastes?
I have never heard of a Monk of the Wastes.
He kind of like narrows his eyes a little bit.
I'm serious. I don't know. I could look into it for you, but I have never heard of it.
You should do more reading.
Yes. Okay. I'll make sure I do.
Okay. And he'll like walk off dejectedly. I imagine the hammer is just like trailing behind him, like
the pile of books that he's hiding behind just topples to the floor. Oh, guy just like scuttles away, take an extra long bathroom break. But yeah, are you guys out buying potions? The other two, or
So I actually have thought of something I'd like to do. So I have a bunch of random alchemical odds and ends. I think I'd like to spend the rest of the night making as many sort of like poisons and shit like that as I can.
Okay, let's make some fucking rolls, sir.
Cool. So I mostly want to use the roofie powder that we got from that date rapist.
Right, yeah.
And I would like to find a way to turn it into like a more viscous kind of form, like a gel almost, that I could coat poison needles with.
Okay. So,
Like suspend it in some kind of like organic solution.
yeah, definitely make an alchemy check.
Sure.
With intelligence.
Yeah. 17.
Yeah. Okay. You can get 3 uses with that.
Okay. Awesome.
This was
and
3 uses of the
roofie
ooze
darts.
stuff.
This is the roofie darts now.
Yeah.
What about? Did you collect any ooze from that thing that melted Maku's hammers?
Yeah, I have the Ramirez thing.
No. The ooze. Not the
The
fiery one.
ooze. Right.
But you do have Ramirez things.
I do.
Hey, look at that! I said it right. Kind of.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, I could try to make some stuff. Could I maybe make some like bombs or like splash grenades out of like the ooze or the Ramirez parts?
You probably can make bombs, but
Not like
an
an explosive, but like like little fire in a bottle kind of thing. Molotov
yeah.
cocktail.
So with the ooze, it's an acid, so you could definitely like make acid pots to throw at people and sort of corrode armor and do damage.
I would like to try to do that.
Make another roll.
That's a better roll. That's a 25.
Okay. Okay, you get 7. I imagine they're like little glass beads that you can sort of fling and they pop and just.
Sure.
So yeah, you reckon like not enough to get multiple people with each one, but like you could hit someone with it and fuck up their armor.
So it would be like a ranged, like a throwing attack.
Yeah. It's
Could he-
definitely you can have proficiency.
Or drop it in someone's drink and they have a really bad day.
Oh, is
The
it
worst
something that
heartburn.
he could tie to like the tips of his crossbows or his bolts and explode over somebody? Or does it have to be a throwing thing? Not that kind of
Probably
range.
throwing just because like,
Don't want that range.
well, it's more.
I do have tinker tools. Could I
Like
try
if
to
you're-
make some kind of crossbow bolt?
Like
Acid
yeah,
action?
you could definitely make a dedicated crossbow bolt that would do it, but it's more like you couldn't just strap a bead to a crossbow bolt so it wouldn't fly.
So could I take my 7 and try to attach them to 7 bolts?
Yeah, you could try, but it depends. Like you may break some.
Okay. Well, let me see what I roll. That's a 21.
Okay, yeah. I'll say you can get 6 bolts.
Okay.
Out of that, so 1 bead breaks. Like
Okay.
the first one, you kind of maybe like try and do it, and it pops out and smashes.
Oh no,
Okay.
it's too top heavy. I have to counteract this.
Okay, so I got 3 roofie darts, 6 acid bolts. Could I try to work with the dust of sneezing and coughing and try to make that into, because it's supposed to, like, I kind of was like throwing it around and like making a mess last time. Could I try to like make it something I could actually make a ranged attack with?
Yeah, you could definitely like change it so that it's again like I imagine you get those glass beads in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of do it so you can like ping it at people and have it sort of puff up and explode.
Sure. Should I make a alchemical check again?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, that's good. That's a 26.
Oh, that is good. Okay.
Sorry, what was that you just made?
I'm using the dust of sneezing and coughing to try to make it into like a few different like grenades rather than things I just scatter in the air.
So actually, technically, you should only get 1 use of the dust.
Oh, really? Is it done after that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I wasn't.
Well, then I don't have it.
Well, we'll say because I didn't know that either. And you got a 26, so we'll say you get 3 like ranged kind of pots of it. So 3 ranged uses, but it's all gone.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Anything else you'd like to do?
That probably takes most of my night, so no, call it there.
Okay, and Bryn.
I mean, someone's got to go potion shopping, right?
Potions.
I mean, and I've only been drinking most of the afternoon and evening, so this should be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Abrashmina was going to try and go to both the library and the potion cellar, but
Well, it's almost closing time, I'm afraid.
okay.
Somebody's got to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're not going to get a better deal than Bryn, are you? So,
No, probably not, because she'll just steal it from me.
I paid 0 gold. All right. So you find a few vendors that can sell potions, and you come out to this guy. You see he's like a half elf. It looks like, kind of like very kind of bronze complexion, probably from the veil. And he's got an eye missing with like a kind of eye patch over it. Sort of like those really pointy ears, but they're sort of clipped, as like half elves look. He's got a sort of slightly upturned nose, very full lips. Hello, Mom. What can I do for you?
I need to get some potions.
What kind of potions would you like?
Some healing potions. Did we want water breathing and resistance?
I don't know why you're asking me.
I'm asking
Healing
myself.
potions as well.
A voice appears imprinted. I was thinking healing potions, potions of resistance. A potion of growth might be fun because that is enlarge.
Yeah, great, Nick.
I mean,
Just-
I can
mean-
enlarge a chiasma.
that'd be
Yeah.
I tell you what. Why don't you
Please
tell me
provide
what you
breath.
got?
You want to know what I have? All right, I suppose I could do that. I have 7 potions of healing.
Okay.
4
I like
potions of greater healing.
Ooh, I like those numbers.
2 potions of superior healing. 1 potion of speed. 1 potion of longevity.
What's that do?
Makes you live longer.
I mean, not like gonna do anything that's gonna help me like right now if I were say going to be in a fight soon.
Well, it would help you live longer.
But not if someone stabbed me.
Ooh, ooh. Your physical age is reduced by 1d6 plus 6 years. There is a 10% chance
Wait.
that you instead
Hold
age by 1d6 plus 6 years.
But she doesn't know that.
Sorry. Okay. Was I not supposed to share that? Huh?
No.
I mean, he said stop. Like, wait, hold on.
I didn't hear.
She might buy the dodgy
I
potion.
was trying to get it back.
But
Yeah.
it's not. It was probably gonna happen
Oh,
anyway. 'Cause
shit.
it's-
Smash. It breaks.
Oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
horrible, horrible thing. I'm so sorry that happened.
It's fine. It was probably...
Any potions of resistance?
Excuse me, don't interrupt.
Oh,
Potion of Hill Giant Strength. I have 1 potion of Animal Friendship and 1 potion of Resistance.
specifically resisting.
Gives you a bit of a look. That's
Like-
privileged information.
Well, not if you want me to buy it. It's not. Because it could not even be worth anything here.
Well, it's necrotic, if you must know.
See, now there you go. That actually sounds interesting.
Unlike some.
All right, so we need some healing potions for
I have
sure.
7 potions of healing.
What are
4
those?
potions of greater healing. 2
And
potions
2.
of superior healing.
Mm-hmm.
I had 1 potion of longevity.
Yeah, but now it's on the floor.
Now it's on that ground. It's probably going to live longer, though.
Congratulations.
A bunch of rats like run up and get really
Yeah.
young and then run off again.
They go eep and turn into like the little fuzzy like rat embryos.
1 potion of hill giant strength. He just keeps listing them off.
And 1 potion resistant necro, right?
Yeah.
What's the price on your healing potions? Your healing, your greater, and your superior.
Healing potions will run you 60 gold pieces each.
Okay.
Greater healing potions will run you 117 gold pieces each. Superior healing potions will run you 4,000 gold pieces each.
The hill giant strength is.
The hill giant strength that will run you 150 gold pieces.
You said you had a potion of speed, right?
I do.
And that'll be.
Too expensive for you.
Really?
Do you have 25,000 gold pieces?
I could. And the resist.
He gives you like the snottiest like look up and down. Mm-hmm.
And the resist necro is.
That will be 200 gold pieces.
All right. And look at my large bag of gold over here.
We have about 1,293 gold just from what the Mirage has made the last 2 times we asked. So you can use that without dipping into any personal funds.
But I do have personal funds to dip into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would
Some
you
of
like
those
to explain my inventory again?
No, I would like to decide what I want to buy, but I mean, if you don't want me to, that's fine.
Well, obs, we don't need the superior healing potion.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he's also asking pretty over the odds for the rare.
Yeah, he is. But
Not over the odds, but definitely top heavy.
mm-hmm. I'm not sure if we need the greater healing. I mean, maybe we should have like 1 or 2, because someone has a healing potion.
You probably need as many potions as you can get.
Yeah.
I have a greater on me because
Yeah.
I'm sure we had a few potions given out at some point.
Yeah, I know that you got a good one. I have that magic shroom. I forgot about that.
What a perfect time as we like bust through the door and you're like looking at your hands.
Whoa.
Whoa. Preacher, your
They
hands
call
are
them
so
fingers,
big.
but I've never seen.
I don't have any potions on me. I think Makud got the greater, and I think Declan has got the
I've got
fire
greater.
resistance one. You've got a fire resistance potion.
I also have the greater healing potion.
Okay.
So I'm.
Are you just going to stand there and look at your gold, or are you going to buy something?
Well, I'm trying to fight the urge to break your nose.
Well, I have healing potions for that. Specifically, 7 potions of healing. 4 potions of greater healing.
I think
2 potions of superior healing.
I think maybe 2
1
greater
potion.
healings, 1 for me and 1 for Bryn, and then maybe 4 of the other.
That,
Four.
and then I,
That
and
would leave you with 3 potions of healing. 2 potions of greater healing.
what about that hill giant for Makud?
You could maybe make a roll to determine whether Makud is already basically as strong as a giant.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think he needs that.
It would bump his. Your strength is 20, Makud, is it? It would bump you up by 1.
Yes, it would bump me up by 1.
I mean, it might make Mina beefy enough to fly Makud in somewhere.
That's true. You would gain
Like Mina's
something
weight,
ridiculous.
fucking like
14
arms,
points
like a foot.
Yeah,
big.
I
or
I
more.
would gain. I guess it's 21. Yeah, I would gain 14 points of strength.
Oh,
Abrash Mina would just turn into like fucking like
Mina
cyborg.
smash.
like she's got Brock Lesnar's arms and Mina's everything.
That's
She's a
terrifying.
monster.
I'm a monster.
Monster.
Ramiel's just Paul Heymaning. Brock Lesnar.
What about the necro?
The potion of resistance to necrotic damage, you mean?
I think that would be a useful one for anybody. I'm already resistant to necro, but I have a feeling we might need necro resistance
I
just
agree.
because they have an evil cleric on them. So I think that might be a good idea for maybe Makud or for yourself since you're up front.
Who are you speaking to?
I told you the voices in my head. Now shut up.
14.
I tell you what.
By the way, thank you for thinking about Makud. I should say, but
Yeah.
he's a strong boy.
I tell you what.
Potions I
Oh
have.
my god. Let's do 4. What do you say? 4 potions of healing, 2 potions of greater, and the necrotic resistance for 500 gold.
That is unacceptable.
All right. Well, that's what I want. I have 550 gold.
750 gold.
No, go fuck yourself.
What did you ask for? The 2 greater healings too?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. My inner vax sense, aka my calculator, is tingling.
No, that's more than that would cost. 575 gold.
I mean, for the necro, and 4 of the healing, and then 2 of the greater healing.
With the prices
yeah.
you quoted me is 674
Oh,
gold.
sorry, I had put in the
Yeah.
hill giant strength one too. It's a good deal if you get the hill giant strength.
575 gold.
Do you take me for some kind of fool?
I mean, I am.
A fool, yes, I know. You can pay
No.
me 700 gold pieces.
No.
Well, then go away.
All right.
His math is so bad
Exactly.
for someone who has like perfect notes of what his.
I mean, he's looking at
Inventory.
the motions, like, they're just laid out in front of him, and he's just reeling off the numbers because he can see them.
Yeah, he can't add them up apparently because what she asked for is worth 674.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he's
And,
asking more than that,
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
as vendors
Yeah.
are wont to do.
I mean, he's got listed prices, so that's his own fault for trying to like upsell himself.
She's trying to get a deal, so he's, like, trying to counteract that and try and meet in the middle.
That's not meeting in the middle. That's
we're
the
not-
reason
we're
his
not-
total prices. No. You can't raise from your listed prices. It's like going up to saying like, okay, this is like worth $20. Okay, I'll give you 10. It's like, no, I'll give you 22. That's not how that works.
Well, but it's also, he's got listed prices, and she's come in and been like, okay, well, I'll pay you less than those listed prices. So he's just doing the same.
I mean, how much money have you made today? I'm offering to drop 575 gold in hand right now. You're closing.
Yes, and then when I close, I can go home.
Tell you
So
what,
how about
600 gold.
not a deal? How about you just pay how much they're all worth?
You're an asshole, and I'll pay him and walk out.
I thought you were going to go a little bit more, but okay. 674 gold.
And I'm remembering where his shop is for later. Don't
It's
know
called-
why. What is it called?
It's called Carl's Potions and Other Things that you can also purchase.
I love this guy.
So 4 healing, 2 greater, 1 necro, right?
Yep.
I'm kind of disappointed you didn't get the hill giant strength one, but
I was told not to.
Not for me, but
For average money.
Mina in your mind said totally get it so she can be buff.
yeah, because then I could carry Makud. How my 7th strength goes up to 21, and Mina just turns into like this helicarrier for a minute. No, it's great. It's great.
I kind of want. I feel he would be the guy to perfectly measure out his sign, but I also want it to be Carl's Potions and then just like a strip of wood tacked on the side that just says and other things you can purchase.
No, it's just like Carl's Potions and other things you can also purr, and then the chest is like really small. You ran out.
It was too cheap to get a new board.
He makes tight margins.
Well, whenever you try to sell potions for like $25,000, yeah.
I like the idea that he goes home and all his family is like that. So his wife is like, "Today for dinner you have potatoes
It's
and
just
carrots,"
everything
and
is
like
like
lists them,
packed in
numbers them.
Oh my god, they're like the neutral zone
Yes,
people.
you have 19 peas.
I used 2 tablespoons
I
of
believe
herbs and
this is the
spices.
3rd time this week we have had fish and chips. Well, they were having a sale. Ah, that makes sense. Thank you for the meal. He's got a pretty good home life.
Sure.
Just don't ask him to count how many eyes he has. So, potions purchased, books read, librarians terrorized, alchemy alchemized. Is everyone turning in for the evening?
Yes.
Yes.
Affirmative.
Very well.
Abrashmina thanks Makud for escorting her to the library.
Makota's like, anytime. I was most disappointed with the librarian. Or he might even call it with the library or something. He just thinks that guy's the library.
Library man.
The library needs to read more. He had no answers.
Abrashmina will sort of chuckle. I managed to find out something about the Monk of the Waste, but I do not think it will be something that we will be able to do in this trip.
You managed to find. The library said there was no information. The library must forget.
I managed to find this one on my own. Yes, that library must have forgotten. It was near the where I was last time.
We will get to the man. The Bellwitch has been good to us.
Yes, I believe so.
when our time is less precious, perhaps.
She has given us the tools that have helped us keep many in good health. Hopefully, they will continue to favor us. And she kind of like pats her staff.
Makut nods. And now we sleep.
Now we sleep.
All right. So, you'll sleep. You wake up the next morning, and I assume you probably make your way to the butcher shop. But before that, is everyone cool if we take a 5-minute break?
Totally
Yes.
cool.
Abrashmin is going to cast divination today.
Okie dokie.
Be right back.
Yeah, me.
Woo.
I just have to figure out what she is going to ask.
What is the preacher's weak spots?
Doesn't quite work that way. It is not as good as commune, but it is still a pretty good spell. It is the one where I get to ask a single question concerning a goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. And the GM offers a truthful reply in a short phrase, cryptic rhyme, or an omen.
What are the defenses?
That is not a specific goal or event or activity.
How do we overcome the defenses?
This short phrase, cryptic rhyme, or an omen. I do not think that.
The Watcher says, carefully.
Yes, exactly. It has to be truthful, but it needs to be like a narrow focus, I think. That's why it's not as good as commune.
100% of the time, the best NPCs are the ones you come up with on the fly.
I have to say, I quite enjoyed your thread talk with Priestess. Like you and Declan, I suppose some of the kids as well. That was like a page and a half of solid conversation about threads of fate and such.
Dope.
Moral context for what's to come.
Yeah, it's all very metaphorical with those dudes. Yeah, Carl's Potions and other things you can also purchase is now officially in my notes. So, you know.
Yay.
These are the people we are saving, Bryn. Yay.
Mhm. I don't know what happened. His shop's under new ownership. The other guy died somehow.
My name is Carl Jr.
I have come to fulfill my father's wishes.
In my father's will, he left me 2 potions.
Oh, the will took 17 days to recite.
Do you have a son?
No, but I do have 2 sisters and 3 brothers and 4 cousins. And
It's a tragedy. Your family's all dead somehow.
Jeez. He's also now the dude who invented the feather token as well, because that's called Carl's feather token, and it's just the page I had open in the DMG. I was like, yeah, this guy could be the guy who invented it. Sure.
You
I am
take
back.
1 feather and 1 token. Put them together.
And what do you got?
1 feather token.
Always love the chance to haggle with Bran. Just makes it so fun. I think we're all back.
Abrashmina, in the morning before coming down, is going to take out a bit of incense and is going to lay out her cards. And she is going to cast divination as a ritual.
Okie dokes.
So that will take her like 10 or 11 minutes or whatever.
What does that do?
That is the one where she gets to ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. And you have to reply truthfully. Yeah, this one.
Goddamn truthfully.
So yeah, she's gonna lay out her incense, and in the center of like where she's like laying out her cards, she's going to put the homemade holy symbol that Makud and Keisha made for her, where it's got like that glittering gemstone in the center, and she's gonna.
Should we totally have recruited a B team of psychopathic killers to join us?
I mean, we maybe could have.
Probably not.
She's going to like cut the heel of her hand, like in the meaty part near the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to like drop a few little things of blood on it, and she's going to ask if Declan's sister is alive.
Yes.
And she will whisper, "Thank you," gather up her things, and join the others.
Very well. You head across to the butcher shop, and you arrive to find Taryn, Dune, Maya, Thal, and Alluri prepared for travel and waiting for you. And Eli.
Okay, I was going to say, is that everybody?
Yeah.
So we got everybody.
Yeah.
And Alluri is there.
Alluri is there, and she kind of steps forward and she says, I'm a little nervous, but I think it's the right thing to do. I'm there. I'll help you.
We are extremely grateful, Alluri. Thank you.
She smiles at you.
To business. Of course, your primary duty is our escape, so keeping you alive and able to cast your spells will be of paramount importance. Of course, if you have any other magical skills that might help us in infiltration or in scouting ahead.
Well, I can do quite a lot of things, though most of them are either research-based or have a lot of illusions, some enchantments, some powerful evocations. So I suppose I can help.
Do you have any way for us to go unseen or to detect their defenses?
She has Nistol's magic aura, which you already have because you're masked.
How many individuals can you affect with this ability?
Let me think about that for a moment, she says. Though in actuality, it is just one, it looks like.
But it's a 24-hour duration, right?
Yeah.
And we have how many days to get there?
Just under a week.
Could you, I'm not sure how your magics work or the energies you channel to wield them, but could you potentially place one of these on each of us? myself excluded, of course, to mask us the day before.
Yes,
So that
I think I could do that.
if you could
It
make
would
us all
just mean
appear,
that I wouldn't have much magic left.
if you were to rest that evening, the enchantment would still be in place, though, and you could regain your energies.
That's true, but if we need my magic that day, then there will be less I can do. But I think it's a
Understand.
good idea nonetheless.
If you could make us all register as beasts, this would probably arouse the least suspicion if we undertake it.
I could do that.
Excellent. Can you craft any illusions to hide us from perception other than this? Do you have an invisibility spell?
Not invisibility, but I have some very powerful illusions.
Could you make us seem as something other than we are?
I could.
This may be our best course, then. And how many can you affect with this seeming?
As
Wow.
many as she wants.
Yeah.
Go.
She's just got like programmed illusion and shit, so.
Okay. Well, I suppose we have time to formulate stratagem on the way.
Indeed. Shall we be off then? You can see she and Thal are both like slightly glistening to look at. And it appears that they have both been slathered in some kind of oily substance.
Do I know what it is?
Yeah, you've seen it loads. It's basically a sunblock type situation. It's fairly common. It's based on they use like honey and then some sort of moisturizing things and just keep you cool and keep the sun off you a little bit. It's a little sticky, but it works. You see Thal has like his big pink poncho cloak, like kind of covering every part of his skin. Except his little face. Taran is sort of naturally quite tanned. And the tallest one out of all of them except for Makud. And he's just in sort of like leather armor and like kind of good solid like armor and clothes that he's had so long they sort of fit his person and very comfortable for him. And he's wearing an Oasis at Night charm. Dune is kind of the same. He's wearing those sort of feathery clothes that he has that are over some armor. Maya's just wearing her sort of stealthy garb. And Alluri is in her sort of one of her long kind of travel gowns.
Is Aloria full-blooded moon elf or?
No, she's half moon elf, half wood elf, I believe.
Okay.
Full-blooded elf is not full asshole elf.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Eli is barely wearing anything, to be honest. He's like got a shirt, but it's open. You know, he is not that fussed about how he looks and protecting himself from the sun. He's a very pretty tiefling and likes to show that off to people. So, unless there's anything else you'd like to do while here.
Makud looks down at Maya. Do you have the food in your tiny bag?
Yeah, me and Eli split it between us.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. She sort of like gives you a weird look, like thinking you're focusing too much on the food. So, shall we go? Or are we just going to stand around here with our dicks in our hands?
Charming. Yes, let's go.
Makud looks down at his hands just to make sure that
I didn't think I was playing with it. It's so big sometimes I can't help it.
The kid sometimes mistakes the haft of his hammer. So you guys set off into the desert, and now is the time for some desert ass rolls. So the way this is going to work is each day, everyone except Makud must make a Constitution saving throw. If you fail, you suffer a point of exhaustion.
Oh boy.
And then the next day, when you make a roll, you roll one save plus one for every save you failed previously.
But we
Doesn't
do
the-
regain one
So you
whenever we rest.
You do lose your point of exhaustion, but then
But
you
it
make,
becomes harder to save the next time.
you just make more saves. So you could get 2 points of exhaustion the next day.
No, I mean like. Wait, what?
I think you're
So
saying
let's say you fail your first roll, you have a point of exhaustion for the day, you go to sleep, you wake up, no longer point of exhaustion, but now you've got to make 2 rolls. And let's say you fail another one of those,
Okay.
you get 1 point of exhaustion, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and now you've got to make an extra roll because you failed another time.
Okay. See, I thought you were gonna make us like increase the DC each time. Okay, I'm cool.
I am.
Okay.
You basically, it's compounding, so there's a higher
Yeah.
chance you get more points of exhaustion.
Doesn't the Oasis at Night charm kind of protect us from stuff?
It does.
It's still the desert.
Yeah, wearing the Oasis at Night charm, you will have advantage. But yeah, it's still the crazy ass desert.
Okay. What if we travel at night?
We are a bit already, aren't we?
I mean, this is first thing in the morning, so.
Sure, but if it gets too hot, I mean, better
Yeah, I
probably
mean, you
camp
can
during the
stop and
day.
take a break, but
Sure.
if you want to travel at night, you will not have to make that roll.
We're still marching for hours through the desert. It's not
Yeah,
the
but if-
easiest terrain.
Sure.
Okay.
It's also harder
So
to navigate at night as well.
what's the DC?
The DC is roll it, and I'll tell you if you fail or not.
Oh, okay.
but we get advantage if we have the Oasis at Night charms.
The DC is 14.
Pass the first day with a 16.
Pass the first day.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, including all the NPCs, passed the first day then.
Woo!
Good start. So, the desert is hot. It's not like the city where there's, shade every so often and places to drink. The heat is unbridled and unforgiving. And there is absolutely nothing to protect you from it. And it isn't long before you can turn around in a 360-degree circle and have no idea where you are. The only thing that's keeping you knowing where you're going is both Makud and Bree flying up ahead and talking to Dune, telling him where to go. Your travel continues on, uneventful and difficult. Climbing dunes, skirting them, it all seems like so much effort and everything gets harder. Each step you take is heavier as you go along. But eventually night falls and you've made it through the first day, able to take some sleep finally. Is Bryn going to cast her spell?
Yes. I'll ritual cast it.
Okay. And are we doing a watch?
Of course.
I mean, everyone could do an hour, and that's 9 hours. Or 8 hours sleep for everyone. Or 9 hours sleep for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Works for me.
All right. So the four of you, I'll have a perception check from each of you, please. And can I have the order of your watches?
Abrashmina would like to take one of the watches in the evening.
Okay.
I can watch somewhere in the middle of the night.
I don't much care. I can take the first watch if
Yeah.
people want.
We're just going to assume that nothing is going to happen on the watches of the NPCs.
The NPCs.
Okay. I'm going to take one of the earlier watches because not much in terms of visions, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, he like sleep. Oh my, that was good. 21.
Mina got a 19.
Also, I would have totally been looking for places to camp, and then suddenly Bryn has a magical ball dome thing that she didn't mention.
Surprise, bitches!
Declan, what was your roll?
It was a 25.
And Bryn?
Oh boy, that is a good old 11.
Well, luckily, nothing happens, and all 4 of your watches pass uneventfully. And you wake up the next morning and set out again.
The next morning, Abrashmina is going to do her ritual cast of divination again.
Okay.
This time she is going to ask if Aishi is still alive.
She is not.
Abrashmina will say thank you.
Which one's Aishi again?
The Aarakocra that attacked us,
William's character.
it was her wife.
Right.
And so, I will need those constitution rolls again, please.
Abrashmina is doing this ritual out in the open. If anyone is interested in what she is doing, it is not secret.
I mean, I presume you get the answer secretly.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you share that or not, but like Makud wouldn't interrupt you doing it.
Well, if he asks when she is done, then she will let him know.
He's not entirely sure what you're doing, but yeah.
That's what I was saying. It's like,
She's doing it out in the open, and so you
Mhm.
guys can hear her ask these things. So
Giving you more than enough time, I imagine. He's like, we are going to move out soon. He says it in like this polite Makud whisper. Doesn't want to like interrupt your things.
yes, I am sorry. I wanted to seek answers as we were getting closer.
Did you find some?
She nods. The Susma, Her-
Suvma.
Susma, her wife has passed into the endless night.
He kind of like stands for a moment. You don't know who did it? Or is it who I think it is?
She was meant to be with the preacher, and now she is no longer. I can only hope that she has met her wife,
Yuki.
Yuki. Thank you. In Dark Sky that she spoke of.
They
She
don't
wanted
deserve.
them to be together.
They deserve to be free.
They are free now.
He kind of like turns away from that, and then kind of like stops halfway. Like he was satisfied with that, and then stops halfway. What if they're not? What if this evil god has them now?
That is not an outcome that I had considered. Perhaps it is a question I should ask tomorrow. Or when I am stronger. Because I can't give questions like that answered, but I don't think. Not with this.
He kind of like rolls his shoulders like a little uncomfortably at their potential fate.
I do not think so, Makud. It would take a lot to subvert the will of he who watches and the goddess Istis. It would not just be one god's will that would be thwarted if this last one took souls like this. But it is not an outcome that should be overlooked, but that I do not believe it is so. I pray it is not.
He doesn't look too much happier, but he kind of like gives a nod and he kind of like turns, and I think as he turns, like you see like the sand kick up around him a little bit, like there are other things also turning away.
Then Abrashmina picks up her things and we get ready to go.
Okay, first things first. Everyone's con rolls, please.
16.
19.
16 again. Keep rolling the same thing,
Okay,
thank
you're
God.
next. You see Dune. Looks like he's beginning to flag up ahead. His breathing's heavy. He's a bit sunburnt. You can sweat across his brow, and you can see his head. He's like kind of rubbing his head. His eyes are drooping a little bit, but he's pushing on. You failed this roll.
Declan will approach and say, June, you seem a bit ragged.
It's a little hot for me, but I'm fine. I've traveled out here before.
I trust you in your instincts. However, if your condition persists into tomorrow, I might recommend that we rest that day and then travel at night.
He gives you a nod. I'll follow you. Your lead.
But we shall wind up quite lost then.
Chuckles. And actually, it gets to about kind of mid-afternoon, and Bree lets out this loud, cawing kind of like eagle shriek, and Dune sort of like climbs to the top of a dune, and kind of his eyes go wide, and he turns to Makud and like points over the edge of the dune. And when you approach the top, you see what is unmistakably a caravan of Minotaur, or a campsite, a village of tents and carts, sitting in this basin between a few of the larger dunes. And you see there's sort of like a ring of these sort of tents and like kind of carts on skiff skis, like camels. So it creates almost like a circle that's this kind of communal area. And at the entrance to the circle on one of the carts is this very tall, thick pillar, like a great totem. On the top of it, there's this black hide of some gigantic creature that's pinned there like a flag. And you see that the pillar is like cut and chipped into with hundreds of tiny blade nicks. You see great minotaurs roaming around the camp, but they look slightly different to Makud. Not one of them is as big as him. They're all much smaller, but they have truly gigantic horns like a water buffalo, some of them reaching like a meter in diameter. And you see like a couple of them notice you and sort of turn and look vaguely interested up from their like colored tents and kind of seats, all just kind of sitting looking up at you.
Just going to ask, there are other Minotaurs in the city. Has McCood ever really interacted or fought one or worked with one? Or
There aren't really many other Minotaurs in the city at all. I'd say you're probably the only one. I think I said that.
Really? He's the only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do not go near the city.
No, I don't mean free Minotaurs. I didn't think he was necessarily the only one that had been taken.
I mean, you're the only one still alive, I think. I think, like, when you were captured, there was a small amount that was captured, and that's really the only time that anyone's been able to capture Minotaurs. So there might be one or two, but they've been snapped up as bodyguards and that sort of thing.
Okay.
You wouldn't have interacted with any others. And probably not even seen any others.
So this is like the first time he's seen other Minotaurs in many,
Yeah.
many years then. So whereas Dune is kind of concerned or scared, like McCood kind of like freezes on the top of the dune and just kind of like observes the increasing number of Minotaurs coming out of tents or the like and I imagine he pauses until Dune prods him or says something.
Yeah.
Or...
So Dune kind of tap his shoulder and say, "Do you know them?"
When I was a kid, have I interacted with this tribe?
Make a roll. Just roll me a d20. Odds or evens. Evens you have, odds you haven't, shall we say?
It is even. So
You
at some
have.
point. I haven't seen a Minotaur. And he like turns and like sort of shakes his head to like correct himself. Mardu in a long time. He like turns to Dune and there's like a slight like apprehensive smile. This is a good omen. And he kind of like claps him on the back of it. And he like takes a couple of steps down the dune, so like he's more on the level. And he turns back, Kalasa. And he like motions to the horns, longhorned. And he like step and step and step, and each one is kind of more excited than the last.
And you see like one Minotaur kind of near the entrance. He's a little bigger than the others. He's got probably the biggest horns around. He's wearing kind of just these simple like sackcloth clothes. And he's like fixing one of the carts. And he sees you approach and he kind of stands and takes a couple steps towards you. And like waits for you to kind of get near. Looking over your shoulder a little bit as your friends kind of approach behind. And then he kind of steps up and he says, "Butak, brother." And he'll lower his horns towards you. And you would know that the sort of customary greeting, you kind of lower your horns and you clack them against his to make like a audible sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of pull away.
He'll reply Budak, and like a little over eagerly, like do it because I imagine he like seen it as a kid and maybe he wasn't even old enough or something for them to do this, and he's already got momentum from going down the dune.
And he says, "You keep strange oval company."
He looks back up there, June, to imagine the silhouette of all of these people.
Humanoids.
Humanoids. Blech. They are, and he like looks around at the gathering people, like people of all different sizes and stuff. They are my tribe, my herd, my Carl. And he sort of stands taller.
Well, you are no longer of the Kalkish.
He kind of like looks puzzled for like 1 second, like how quickly he can be identified, maybe. And there's probably some like memories that kind of like rush back. I was taken a long time ago. Many moons.
You see the guy, the Minotaur spits. Dukat. I am sorry, brother, but you are welcome in our tribe, as are your herd. He sort of turns, kind of walks, but he's like looking over his shoulder so that he's keeping contact as he leads you in.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You smell of the Urbash, stinking city."
That has been my home for a long, long time.
Must feel good to feel the sand beneath your hoofs again.
I fought on sand. Actually, I killed many on sand. But this is free. And he like scoops some of it up. Like it almost kind of comes up into his hand slightly, I think, as he like goes down for it. This is different.
Yes, yes, it is. We live a special life out here, and the true value of the sand is hidden to most people, but not to us. Gives you a grin. Well, you will stay with us tonight, drink, make chagro, friendship.
He like there is no case in his mind that we don't. Of course. Our journey is not too much further on, but what I wouldn't give to sit around the fire again.
Well, you and your family, you may stay as if you were my blood. And sort of like pats you on the shoulder, which is like probably in line with the top of his horns. And it's only now for everyone else that you realize like Makoot's not just big because he's a Minotaur, he's big for Minotaurs. And so, you know, while these Minotaurs are all like, you know, 6'6", 6'5", Makoot is towering over all of them. And they're all, again, much leaner than he is, much less muscled. Makoot just looks like an absolute kind of specimen next to all these guys. But with weedier horns. And he says, you and your friends can make trade, Sundrat. Our camp is open to you. My name is Girid. I am the chief, and you have the run of the place.
Thank you for your hospitality. Broshmina kind of like bows.
Yeah, he'll turn and he'll like incline his head back.
I would like turn to her and be like because I actually had come up with a tribe leader title, and it's like call him Joshua, Jushur,
Jushur.
Joshua, because he I presume he said chief in common, but he
Yeah.
wants them to pay better respect, or how it proper respect to him.
Yeah.
The
Did he
title
say
holds.
Did he say his name was Gurid?
Girid. It's in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Abrashmina will correct herself and say Gurid. I am Abrashmina Adalin. And she'll hold out a hand in greeting.
Yeah. Engulf it with his own. It is a pleasure to meet you. And he'll introduce himself to all of all of you guys. And you see people seem to live very simple lives here. They have things for trade, but it's kind of communal. If someone doesn't have enough food, they don't have to pay for it. Someone will give them food. The kids run around, fight. A lot of them are fascinated by Makud because it's the first time they've met someone from the Kalkish. And so seeing this big giant walk into camp is very cool to them. Lots of them are going around giggling about how ugly all the rest of you are and that sort of thing.
That one doesn't even have any eyes. She looks weird.
Although I imagine in Minotaur,
Yeah.
probably don't know what.
And they've all got deeper voices than you, even though they're 12.
Look how scrawny that one's arms are.
Yeah. She's like a stick man.
Is she sick?
So you see, there's one other Minotaur in this camp who doesn't have the same enormous horns. And they are sitting kind of at the entrance to a tent. She's very kind of small, much frailer looking than all the others, kind of old. And you see lots of other Minotaurs, all with various things. One has a load of stacks of ingots of various types. One's got some blades and weapons. One's got lots of furs. One of them's got shiny rocks. You see a few of them wrestling. Sort of some of the adolescent ones kind of wrestling by the fire, which isn't lit, but there's a stacked fire ready for the evening to come. You also see a few of them are arm wrestling. A couple are smoking pipes with very fragrant herbs burning. You see a few of them drawing shapes in the sand, playing some kind of game. Yeah, you have the run of the place. If you would like to do anything, ask any questions.
So, immediately after people are beckoned in or something, Makud is gonna ask, "You knew I was of Kalkish. Have you seen them recently?"
Not for some time, but not so long ago. He shrugs. You are very big. That is what Kalkish is.
He kind of stands a little taller.
And Girid will turn to the rest of you and kind of point to Makud. Kalkid means the strong arm tribe.
An appropriate moniker. If they all bear your countenance, Makud.
You hear one of the kids near Declan is clearly trying to do an impression of Declan in Minotaur.
Declan smiles. He's probably picks up on the fact that he's being made fun of.
Yeah. Yes. It was clear when you came in. Much like you could tell who we were.
I remember the tribe from when I was a kid. We met once or twice. Our paths crossed.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like halting a little distant or something.
The Kalkish are good traders. And, well, they are peaceful. And so are we. There are some tribes who are less peaceful, but we do not see as close with their eyes.
I was told to call this guy Jashore, right?
Yeah,
Sure, yes.
that's his title in the proper Minotaur, I guess.
Jashore. May I ask, are there any among your traders who possess any unique items, baubles, magics, things like this?
Ah, yes. You'll want to speak to Duljad. And he points to the frail, like skinnier, shorter horned Minotaur by the tent.
What was the guy's name again?
Duljad. It's in the chat.
Dorjad.
She is our resident magical person.
I would inquire. You have my thanks. Are there any items that your tribe needs now?
We always need food and water, but we have done some good trading. We are comfortable on everything, to be honest. But the way you stay comfortable is by never turning down trade opportunities. So if you have something interesting, we would like to see.
Let's see what kind of deals can be made. Thank you.
You're
Then
welcome.
I'll walk over to her.
Yeah. She's is very scraggly, like going bald in some places. Very old Minotaur. She looks up at you with these like cataracty eyes.
Oh, hello.
I'll speak in Ashari to make things a little easier for her if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening to you. I was told that you were a purveyor of magical curiosities, and I was curious what wares you might have and what trade you might be interested in.
I have lots of items, but it depends on what you have for trading also.
Curiosities from beyond the sea. Actually, I guess north of us is not a sea, right? From the north.
No, it's the sea or ocean.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I see them?
Yeah.
Oh, perhaps. I am curious, before we proceed, have you any items of protection?
Like a shield?
Magical protection. Rings, amulets, cloaks.
I maybe have some of the rings.
Well,
Abrashmina is going to wander up for part of this conversation as well.
I am going to pull out a couple of different things. I have a few items to trade. I'll place the +1 heavy crossbow down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
Now, I know this item is of magical make. I am not particularly well versed, I'll be honest, in the arcane art to know its exact value, but I imagine it is somewhat less than the value of a magical ring. So I would like to offer you this. A wager. You may challenge me to any game of wit or physical strength that you wish, and if I lose, this crossbow is yours. However, if I win, I will give you the crossbow in exchange for the ring.
This seems like a bad trade on your behalf.
Well, I am not a merchant, simply a man in need of protection.
Well, why don't I show you the ring and then you decide?
Sure.
She reaches into her clothing, pulls out a ring on a leather thong.
It will help you against all the prayers and things.
Help me against prayers and things.
Prayers and things.
What?
What do you? Do I know what she means?
Resistance.
A ring of resistance.
Radiant resistance.
Radiant resistance. Okay, interesting. Looking for something to increase my armor class. She ain't got that though.
But the preacher does have a priestess. The things coming from her are going to be necrotic and divine in nature.
Could be of use. Crossbow's going unused anyway. Would you take an even trade?
I will take an even trade if you show me what else you have for trade as well.
Not much else in the way of magical items that I'm afraid I can part with. I suppose. I have a number of alchemical items that perhaps you might find useful, and I'll kind of take out my alchemical, belt pouch, and I'll show her the mushrooms that I have. I have one unbreakable. I have one magic arrow, which I actually don't know what that does.
I think you've got that jar of ice.
Got the jar of ice. I kind of don't want to get rid of that until I know what it does.
Do you get it out in front of her?
Sure.
She'll like hold her hands up for it to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give it to her?
Sure.
Should I take it and sniff it?
Oh,
I've been so far unable to identify what this
I
is.
like this very much.
Do you know what it is?
I'll give you lots of nice things for it.
Well, do you know what it is? I must say this particular item has piqued my curiosity as well.
It's an egg slurry.
An egg slurry.
Yes. You have to put it in the waters for a little bit, and the egg slurry will hatch. Make lots of little gold glowing fishes.
And then the fishes do what?
What kind of fish?
Gold glowing fishes, what do you want from me?
Do they have a name?
Other than the excitement of glowing gold fish, is there some practical purpose?
I suppose you could eat the fishes if you wanted to.
I'm gonna insight check her, see if she knows more than she's letting on.
Okay.
Two. That is
Rolled a 22.
better than me.
It doesn't look like she's leaving anything out, but she does seem excited by the prospect of the fish quite a lot. So it might be that they're extremely valuable monetarily or whatever.
Okay.
Or this is just a very rare item.
Can I roll a history check or a nature check?
You can roll nature.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 20.
Yeah, you've heard of fish that can glow, and these you haven't heard of these specifically. They're definitely not from a Shah.
Mm-hmm.
But you've heard of things like this, fish that can go dormant for long periods of time and then hatch.
There's probably some shawl that she had to entertain once that showed off his collection or something.
Yeah, like koi pond and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I will give you this for it. Very, very nice, very nice.
she'll reach into a cloak and pull out a lump of ore that is green and gold. She'll hold it up and she'll say, see, look. And she'll point, and like in some of the rocky parts of the ore, you can see these like sort of strange like circular markings.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just to circle back. Do I know what kind of fish they are, or do I just
You don't know the breed, no.
just know that?
Yeah, you
Very, very valuable quasi-magical fish.
yeah.
Okay.
What does this gem do?
It's not a gem, it's ore.
The ore, excuse me. What does the ore do?
Well, it's very pretty, but look, it's historical value.
She's like pointing to the symbols.
Do I recognize any of it?
You can make a history check. You're getting a vaguely magical
good.
impression from the ore.
That's only a 6. Abarashmina does not know.
My history check was a 20.
Okay. You maybe came across this, Declan, when you're in the library just scanning through books.
Mhm.
You've seen like symbols on that are often on like kind of really old Ashari tombs.
Mm.
You reckon that this is probably part of a tomb that was like built in some kind of magical ore deposit.
Well, I have no use for quasi-magical ore unless I know what its capabilities are.
He's good, like quasi-magical fish. It's fair trade.
I was going to say, Declan, it's not as like we can use magical fish either.
Well, yes, but I can use that ring.
You've traded for the ring already.
Oh, I did? Oh, for the crossbow, she took that trade? Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she did.
She took that trade if he showed her.
Something
Everything
else?
he had.
Oh, okay.
She just wanted to see what else he had. So yeah, you have the ring. She has the crossbow. She's, not aiming at you or anything yet.
Yet.
All right. If it will benefit your tribe.
Yes. Yes.
She like snatches it off you, thrusts the ore into your hand. You've just got a big rock now.
I have these, and Abrashmina will. I know this is going to be ridiculous, but she has the sandworm scale shield that she was going to have changed into a breastplate, but she'll set that down, and the drift globe.
She'll reach for them both.
I like these.
What do you have for trade?
You want a special cape?
What does it do?
Lets you jump around.
I do not have a need to jump around, and Abrashmina will kind of flicker her wings a bit.
I might.
But this is for my trade, Declan. Abrashmina kind of grins. I want to see if she has anything else. But
I have these beans.
She'll hold up a pack of beans, like a sack of little beans.
do you have anything else? These are 2 very nice items.
They're very nice beans. But
This is a very nice shield. Do you feel how light and well balanced it is?
yes, yeah.
And this will, she kind of like taps the drift globe and it starts floating a bit and does like the light.
I have. Well, I have these. No, she doesn't want these. Oh, what about these? Very nice gloves.
Hold up a pair of sort of like purplish gloves made of leather.
And what
No,
do
they-
they do?
Like for catching things, you know.
Mina, if you're not interested, I am.
Yes.
This is not your trade.
But we're sort of a unit, you know.
Yeah. For the shield? Gloves for the shield?
The shield for which?
The gloves.
Make me a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh.
Mina, will you have no shield if you sacrifice this?
No, I have another shield, and she kind of like holds up the heavy, like jeweled one.
Okay.
That's
She got a really funky one.
Yeah. This is extra. That is only. Oh, that's not bad. Only, I say, 16.
Mm, it's very nice, but okay.
She hands you the gloves and takes the shield.
Abrashmina smiles. And would you still like something for the globe?
What does globe do?
It floats and brings light, and it can bring it can turn night into day. Once a day.
Well, once a night, surely.
Anytime you need, really. But once, and then you must let it rest.
I would give you 4, not for the beans. They're too valuable.
She puts the beans away.
This fan.
She holds out like a kind of cloud bluish white fan.
If I may, I'm going to take out the universal solvent, which I believe is a legendary item, right?
No.
No?
You're thinking of the iron flask, maybe. Don't think universal
Well,
solvents.
I think it's pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, it is. Damn.
Yeah.
My bad.
I'll put
When
out.
it
I'll
sticks
break out the
anything
universal
to
solvent.
anything, doesn't it?
No, it's the one
No,
that
it dissolves
No,
solves
it
Oh.
basically its only purpose is to get rid of the sovereign globe.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Which we don't have. So, this is an extremely rare item. Its value in coin alone could support your tribe for a generation, I'm sure. I will give you this in exchange for the fan, the jumping cloak. Right? Was that what she said? A cloak that makes you jump?
Makes you jump around and go all smoky. Yeah.
And go all
Go all
smoky.
smoky. Wait, what? What kind of cloak is this?
Yeah, when she said jump around. She
She
didn't
said
mean
jump- she
physically
said-
jump around.
Yeah,
she
she
said
said-
it helps you jump around, and then the smoke.
And he said, and then the smoke, but you started cutting him off already. But I heard that it's a teleportation-y thing. Or a displacement.
A
cloak or
dimension
whatever.
door. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or Misty Step, or
Or mounting
Displacement.
banks.
Yeah, it's
yes.
close to the mount bank.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, hell damn.
Yeah, I knew that was one of
Globe.
his favorite items.
Yeah,
Playing-
I misunderstood. I thought it was like a cloak of the bat or something.
Well, you should let me finish next time.
I apologize. Abrash Mido will gladly take traded drift globe for a cloak of the mountebank.
Well, I don't want the globe.
You don't want the globe?
No, I want those liquids.
All right.
Again, I will trade you this
Mm.
for the remaining items. And how many? Does she have everything displayed?
Yeah, except the beans, which she's hidden away, but she'll bring the beans back out at the notion of that very expensive trade. So,
Is there anything? If there's anything else that looks good that she's got displayed, I will try to see.
so
if I can
beans,
work that.
fans, and beans, fan, and cloak.
Yeah.
The beans, fans, and the cloaks.
If you consent.
Deal.
Very well.
She'll like snatch the universal solvent off you, give it a sniff, and like let you take the other stuff. So yeah, cloak of the mountebank, a wind fan, and a bag of beans.
And then gloves and missile snaring, I am assuming.
But yeah, that was a different trade.
Yeah.
So yeah, gloves and missile snaring. Yeah, and the other stuff.
So she no longer has anything for trade.
No.
Okay, that is fine. Abrashmina will offer Declan the gloves. I cannot use these when I have a shield of my own.
I appreciate that. Well, I might be out like of a 2-minute slot at this point. Let me double check some stuff.
While you two are sorting out admin, then
Mm-hmm.
what's Brendan McCood doing?
If Bryn doesn't have something more important or pressing to do? Like Makud can be like basically taking a round and like pointing at things and is like, look at this. This is made out of like the thickest hide, but is super cool. It keeps the sun up. Look, and he just sort of like half shoves you in it and like follows you in after. And then like before you even can like right yourself, he kind of just like grabs you and like drags you to something else, and he's just like super excited to be able to like share his culture with you because you're like the storyteller. And then he probably like grabs
Aw.
the Joshua, and there's like, this is Bryn. She comes from far, far, far away, where it is cold.
It's not always cold. It's only cold part of the year.
It
She's-
is never cold here.
And it's never this hot there.
She brings stories.
Hmm.
Uh,
You will tell us a story at the feast tonight?
A feast
Of course.
and stories.
Of course.
Only if I get a story in exchange.
Of course.
Well, then, of course.
Of course.
Ouch.
Did you laugh too hard or something?
I just got like sharp pain in my chest. I'm okay.
Makud, you see there's a pair of minotaurs trying to get your attention and beckon you over. And they're sitting smoking a pipe.
Sure, go over.
Sit down. And they say, oh, you have been away from the tribe for much time, yes?
I have.
Then you have not tried the sand smoke, no? You were too young.
Do you want me to roll to see if he ever partook in the sun smoke?
Well, I think you would have been taken too young before he was allowed to.
I didn't say allowed to. But okay.
I mean, if you want, I don't know.
I was just going to roll.
It's a Minotaur thing, so I'll let it be up to you. Whether they are like...
I was just...
It's not like a, woo, let's get high for fun. It's like a spiritual experience.
Sure. Okay. No, I never took off the sand smoke.
And they'll like pat the sand next to them. Come, sit. You should try it.
Are they purposely trying to, be shady and like seduce him into doing this? But
That'll be shady.
okay, you should try it. It's a little bit.
It's just voice, man.
Sure, just voice. He will sit down anyway.
Judgment.
So the occasion for this is it just something that adults do?
Yeah.
Okay, so there isn't super significant.
There's not pomp and circumstance, but it is sort of like everyone's gets their own unique experience. I mean, your understanding of it is probably fairly limited.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So he sits. I'm sure it is very warm and comfortable for the Minotaur, and he partakes of the. Is it more like an Indian peace pipe or like a hookah thing?
Yeah, more like an Indian peace pipe.
Okay, cool.
And they will say, breathe it in deep and hold it in your chest, and then release it. Like
so,
tries.
He has like no experience of this, so he's just going to take at it like he does with the booze, and he's just going to like take as much of this as possible.
Yeah, and eventually, your head begins to go a little fuzzy, and your eyes sort of blink slower, and you see the smoke curling from the pipe So like making shapes, and you see like little movements in the sand. And then like your whole vision suddenly changes. And everyone else can see Makud just sort of like sitting there, kind of swaying back and forth. Makud, you see a great minotaur of the Kalkish, much like yourself. There's like dark, night-colored fur, powerful, strong shoulders, and muscular arms. He's wielding a giant axe, and the wind is whipping up the sand and his clothes impressively. And you see him yelling and charging forward. And you can hear the sounds of this like sort of thunderous combat around him. But he leaps from a cliff, and there's this like rushing sound in your ears, and you can feel the blood pumping in your chest and the adrenaline coursing through your body. It's like you are this minotaur, even though you know it's not you, and you can feel the grip on the haft of the axe. As you fall, you look up and you see a flash of gold, and a dragon the size of something enormous, a city maybe, crashes over the top of you, breathing fire and tackling another dragon. But this one is red and roaring and dwarfs the giant golden dragon, such that this is the biggest thing you've ever seen. Below you, though, the ground comes up to meet you, but not before a black dragon that you swing your axe into, kind of splintering scales and smashing in between, trying to get at its neck. But it throws the minotaur off, and you see it collapse in a heap. And the gold dragon lands in front of it, and you see the red and the black dragons kind of circling around it, and you hear the voice of the gold dragon whispering to you, "Get up, get up." And you slowly feel your muscles strengthen and your resolve harden, and you feel this minotaur stand. And it's both like you can watch, like you're watching it and doing it at the same time, as this minotaur and this dragon charge into battle once again. And then your vision returns, and you're staring up at the sky, watching wisps of smoke as they fade off in the sun.
I imagine when he said get up, like he stood up. So like he's standing, like looking up.
Yeah. And you see like the sort of minotaurs who were trip sitting for you have like got their hands on your shoulders to steady you.
Was there, I'm just curious, was there like, sand whipping around him?
Definitely. It's an emotional response, I imagine, the sand thing. So, yeah, very much like sand whipping around. Maybe fragments of this vision you're having were like kind of coming to life in the sand.
Yeah, totally. So he is like, comes out of that vision, and there's like a moment of him straining against like both of the minotaurs that are holding him.
Good, it's okay, it's okay. They're like patting your chest.
And he kind of like shakes his mane out. Do you see the dragons too?
We saw them in the sand, Makud. You have powerful forebears. The ancestors that watch you, they are with the gods and the dragons now. They may be dead, but their power is in you.
I mean, Makud has very limited knowledge of the world, but like dragons as a thing, like are they much of a thing? I know we've heard these vague tales of like sheets of glass or like an old dragon that maybe lived in the mountain, but has anyone like seen one in living memory? Like,
not in living memory. So there's different levels of kind of people's knowledge, and there's much misinformation around dragons. So what you actually know is very much dependent on who and what you've read.
Sure.
To Makood's knowledge, he's probably heard campfire stories that could
Of dragons.
that could be just as false as they are true.
Because there's stories he's never like seen the visual. Like he might like the stick drawings in the sand or whatever.
Yeah.
Like enough for him to identify or just feel that this is a dragon.
Yeah, you've had them described. These great winged lizards.
Yeah.
So you would know what you were looking at, but yeah.
And they have wyverns, but this is like pale in comparison type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The red dragon in particular.
Yeah.
The size of a small island.
He kind of shakes again. You saw them? That I've never seen something that big before. And I imagine like his hammer was nearby, but he'd kind of like let it go because if he started swinging that around, there would be some trouble. So, like, he's like all tense and kind of hyped. I imagine, like like heart hammering and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I will just say,
Your ancestors were powerful enough to fight the dragons
and fight alongside them. I think there are interesting things awaiting you.
He's like turns to them and goes, "I thought so, but not as interesting as that." And he kind of like stretches out and like grabs the hammer. I was going to smash so many people, but no, that pales in comparison to that.
Everyone has their own battles to fight.
He like grabs both of them, I think, like around the shoulders. Goes, I need to get better battles.
Battles will find you, Makood, I'm sure.
And he's probably like gonna go off with them or something to get food or something. He's just asking about dragons and who might know or what might any stories, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so they tell of lots of different dragons, but it's kind of hard to parse what they're actually saying. It's very confused information, but
sure. And it's hard for him to follow anyone, and he's probably mostly thinking about what he just saw anyway. But
what's Bryn doing?
After she got the tour, she probably found a nice little place to kind of sit in any kind of shade, and is kind of just playing kind of some Ashari sounding like tunes on her lute, trying to figure out exactly what story she's gonna.
Yeah, there's someone picks up this like very massive horn, but you see it's kind of got holes along it, and they play it more like a flute. It's like a very Minotaur instrument, and it's quite delicate. Almost sounds like an ocarina. This sort of reedy, windy sound to just accompany it. The kids kind of sit and listen and wrestle next to you and that sort of thing. It's very like peaceful, relaxed community. No one seems worried or stressed.
So Brent definitely feels surprisingly at home.
Yeah, it's definitely there's a definitely like a reminiscent kind of vibe to the place for you. Like almost reminds you of your troop before everything went wrong. And
right.
So evening falls and the fire is lit. and there's like a huge amount of food that is like put in a circle around the fire on like these kind of wooden platters, like lots of like cheeses and meats, and vegetables and that sort of thing, but they are all uncooked, and there's like these big kind of wooden skewers, and you sort of make up a fork of what you want and skewer it like a raclette. And so it's like this very communal, like help yourself feast that's going on. And Girid will come over to Bryn, kind of like put a big beefy hand on your shoulder. So, do you have a story you are going to tell?
What kind of story would you like to hear?
Oh, any kind. One of far off places and interesting, exciting things.
Interesting, exciting. You want great battles, lost love.
Oh, all of the above.
All right. So, Bryn will kind of gather around an audience.
I think everyone around the fire, the like whole tribe, just eyes on you.
Have you heard the story of the Prince of Stones?
Lots of shaking heads.
All right. The Prince of Stones was a minor noble many lifetimes ago, where I am from. He refused to take his father's crown. His father was known for wanting to war, and he had seen some battles, and he had fought bravely, but had lost many friends to the battles, and he had lost his taste for war. So he leaves his family and he goes to essentially a small village that is being beset by beasts. Once more, he takes up his sword and defends the village, and they welcome him with open arms. His father, kind of being the war man that he normally is, kind of gets into battle, and he's killed. His mother comes to the Prince of Stones and says, please come home. Your father's dead. Your brothers need you. He refuses to go. Was not going to save his brothers. This happens again 3 times, and finally he is visited by his god, and his god says, "You have refused your duty 3 times, and I will leave you with nothing." And he's forced to take up his sword to go and defend the kingdom again. And he is very much like his father. He is a great warrior, slew many giants and monstrous creatures. But much like his god promised when he returned home, all that was left of his village was rubble. His advancing armies, had moved through the city and laid waste, claiming their lord's rights to this. And the prince wandered off into the desert, or not into the desert, into the forests, basically lost. And this village, actually, the rubble still stands where I lived. And every once in a while, if you go through the village and you stay the night, you can still see the prince wandering, gathering stones to rebuild his city's walls.
You see, like, all their faces are kind of like eyes wide, mouths agape, like completely engaged with your story. And there's sort of like a moment of silence as you finish, and then they all begin to clap. And sharing like a couple of drinks is sort of thrust in your direction. And Girid sort of like claps and leans over to you and says, "As you told the first story, it is your choice who tells the second." And he like kind of holds out an arm to the rest of the group. Pick anyone.
So who looks like the wisest, oldest member?
So the oldest is definitely Duliad, the crazy witch lady. But she definitely doesn't look like the wisest. You get the impression that the wisest is probably Girid. Everyone seems to defer to him, not out of like submission, but more out of like, oh, Girid will know what to do type of thing. Everyone respects his opinion a lot, and so he's probably the wisest. But there's a few olders in there.
How about you? I would like to hear a story of your tribe.
Oh, he like rubs his hands together. I think you get the impression he'd been hoping you would ask him.
Tell me of the waters of your homeworld, Usul.
Right.
And he sort of like stretches out, kind of makes a show of it, and like a lot of the younger children like kind of get a bit excited. He says, "Well, I have so many stories. What would you like to hear of? The story of dragons, of battles, of..."
Tell us the story of your conquests and love.
Well, to tell you the truth, we don't have many conquests, but we do have love. And chuckles. There was once a young lady, sort of like grins, and there's a few like people who sort of know the story he's going to tell. And she had a great deal of love for one of the lead tribesmen, but he was already betrothed. This is back before we were a separate tribe who could make our own decisions. And so the big Minotaur, who she fancied, not unlike you, Makun, kind of slaps his shoulder a bit. Well, he was betrothed to another, but she did not let that bother her, did she? And he sort of like kind of gets the crowd a little riled up. She snuck up on him, picked him up, and ran all the way across the sands. And like a lot of the kind of younger children like giggling at the prospect of someone the size of Makud being sort of taken away. And and he sort of like chuckles and says, "So, when they finally found the big Minotaur and his beautiful now wife, he was so besotted with her, seeing her carry him all this way, that he broke off his engagement. And thus, a new tribe was formed. A new tribe with the biggest horns of all. He kind of grins, and everyone like claps and cheers. There's sort of a few more stories and kind of like songs and a few people kind of smoking the sand smoke. And you're by the end, the like hospitality is fantastic. You're so full, you can't eat anymore, you can't drink anymore. And they let you sleep in the tents, like keep you warm enough in the night.
Abarashmina is totally a little buzzed.
Yeah. And I think that's where we'll end it for this evening.
Ta-da!